Oh, all right, good. Shalom, shalom. Happy Sabbath, everybody. Happy Sabbath. Those of you online, happy Sabbath. Those of you who enjoy the class, those of you you'll get it. Hopefully y'all paying attention. And I'm not wasting my time. But like the bishop says, whoever get it, get it. Whoever don't. Know it's a lot. But I'm going to get through it. Part 2 today and part 3 tomorrow. Radio show. Madam? We're good? All right. So, part 2 of last week, we left some things out. Which doesn't really make a difference, but I can still go over it today. So, we're going to open up with, I want page 191. It's the war. It's today. I'm saying today. Yeah, 181. Should say Apple, something about there you go, I said. So I want that first because, as I mentioned earlier, how some scholars have knowledge of the difference between Phoenicians in terms of being Israel, and some tend to mingle the two together. But I'm going to show y'all that as we progress in the series, that they differ eventually in time. If you study enough, you'll see the differentiation between Phoenicians and you'll see some scholars make Phoenicians Canaanites, and you'll see most scholars will make it clear that Phoenicians are Israelites, all right? So this is going to cut a lot of confusion that's being spread in the media regarding anti-Semitism, all right? So put that on the screen so I can see it. All right, who's going to read?
I got it.
All right, Judge, read that. It's page 191. Read this here.
For centuries, Jews have been living at peace with the Semitic Negroid Berbers.
Stop. So it says, for centuries, Jews have been living at peace with the Semitic Negroid. Semitic Negroid. Semitic Negroid. So Negroids are Semitic. That's number one. It's the Semitic Negroid Berbers. Now, Berbers goes back to, I don't want to jump ahead. Semitic Berbers are Israelites, okay? That would be your Phoenicians. That's the same people. That's Phoenicians. Semitic, Negroid Berbers. We keep going. Go back. Keep going. What's back on me for? Go back. Go ahead.
For centuries, Jews have been living at peace with the Semitic Negroid Berbers.
Now, Jews are, in this same book it's going to tell you, but Jews and Semitic Negroid Berbers are one and the same. The reason why it calls them Jews is because these Jews observe Judaism, and Semitic Negroid Berbers oftentimes were either neutral or they were Jews as well. We'll get that later on. Go ahead.
Or Hamitic Berbers.
Then you have Hamitic Berbers. That's Canaanites. That's Hamites there. So you have Semitic Negroid Berbers and you have Hamitic Berbers or Hamites that resided in that area. Okay, we'll get, it says Berber. We're going to find out what that word means as we read on. Go ahead.
In lands we call Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia.
Now, Morocco and Mauritania is the same place. Okay, Morocco is a different portion of Mauritania. It's the same landmass. Morocco, or Mauritania. Same people. Berbers, Moors. You have Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. Tunisia is Carthage. Okay, Tunisia is Carthage. You also find the term Numidia. Numidia is the bottom part of Carthage, or Tunisia. The slave trade is happening right now among the Arabs right now. You have the Arab slave trade going on with our people right now as we speak in these areas. Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, where the Arabs still have our women and brothers as slaves, all right, in secret. Muslims. Go ahead, watch your year.
After 1000 BCE.
Remember that day, I told you last week, that date. That date is going to be repeat itself. It's going to repeat itself over and over and over again. That date is going to repeat itself over and over again. 1000 BC, I said either 15, but most of the time you'll see 10. Those of you who have been paying attention and taking good notes, you understand what I'm saying. Those of y'all who are stuck in neutral in your brain, and you're just going to be stuck, I'm not going backwards. It says after 1000 BC. Go ahead.
The Barbary Coast.
The Barbary Coast is where the term Berber comes from. The Barbary Coast would be Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. That's Northwest Africa, that top region. Northwest Africa is referred to as the Barbary States or Barbary Coast, or they were referred to as Berbers. Barbary is where the term barbarian comes from. The Romans and Greeks referred to anyone that was not white or not speaking Greek or Latin, barbarians. We were barbarians. Paul even uses the term in the scriptures, barbarians. That refers to non-Greek or Latin-speaking people, particularly dark people. They refer to us as barbarians or Berbers, okay, or inhabitants of Barbary. Barbary goes back to Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Mauritania. That's Barbary states or Barbary coast. Go ahead. Or they're referred to as Moors, as in Morocco or Mauritania. The inhabitants of Mauritania is a Moor or Berber. It's the same people. We'll get to that later on. Go ahead. I'm jumping ahead, but go ahead. Read up again after what?
After 1000 BC, the Barbary coast was settled by Phoenicians from Lebanon.
See that? So the Barbary coast was settled by Phoenicians from Lebanon. Okay, going back to the Semitic Negroid Berbers, going into them. Go ahead.
A Canaanite Semitic people.
A Canaanite Semitic people. Why does it say Canaanite? Because Phoenicia is Canaan. And they were Semitic because they were Israelites. They were Jews. They're not, it doesn't say Canaanite Hamitic. It says Canaanite Semitic. Because they resided in Canaan, but they were Semitic people. Going back to the Phoenicians again, if you were paying attention last week and going over your notes or the class last week. If you're not, you want to remain slow and be lost, that's on you. I'm telling you. So I'm not going over this again. I'm going forward. I'm not going backwards. So make sure you're taking good notes and paying attention. It says the Barbary coast was settled by the Phoenicians from Lebanon, a Canaanite Semitic people. Now Canaanites are what? Are they Semitic or Hamitic? Hamitic. So how can Canaanites be Semitic? Go ahead.
Semitic people who spoke a dialect akin to Hebrew.
So Esau uses that, and Esau goes, well, Canaanites are Semitic in terms of their language. But no, a Semite is a descendant of Shem. Okay, a Semite is a descendant of Shem, not speaking a language of Shem. Hamites spoke a language that spoke a certain form of Hebrew as well. All nations did, but all nations didn't come from Shem. All right, go ahead. So they spoke. So this particular, it says Phoenicians from Lebanon, a Canaanite Semitic people, spoke a certain dialect akin to Hebrew. Watch this, going to prove who they are. Watch this.
They're city-states of Utica and Carthage.
Utica is the next door neighbor of Carthage. Carthage is Tunisia. Going back to the word above, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, or Tunis. That's Carthage. Utica is on the right. Go ahead.
Kart Hadash, or New City.
Right. Kart Hadash is where the word Carthage comes from. Kart Hadash, or New City. That's where Dido, and Dido, last week I brought up Dido. She was a Canaanite woman that fled from her brother. Her brother had killed her husband, and she fled to North Africa with some Israelites went along with her, and she established an area there known as Kart Hadash, or New City. You understand? I never ever said that she was an Israelite. You got idiots on the comment board. Y'all just are slow. Just be quiet and just watch what you've been doing. Dido was a Hamite woman, and Israel fled there with her, okay, around the 800s BC, which is 200 years after this. Go ahead.
Were ruled by a Safut, akin to the Israelite Shaphat, or judge.
See that? So their city-states of Utica and Carthage were ruled by a Safut, akin to the Israelite Shaphat, or a judge. So the Israelites managed to go over there. Eventually, they arrived there as well. They were there first. Israel was there first, and she came thereafter. Okay? So the city-states of Utica and Carthage, Kahadash, New City, were ruled by a Safut akin to the Shaphat or judge, to the Israelite judge. So these Canaanite Semitic people or Phoenicians were Israelites that established themselves there. All right? It's early as 1000 BC, which goes back to Solomon and so forth, and David. Now, let's go to 2 Ezra 14, verse 3. I'll deal with Dido later on also. Some of y'all may be confused about Dido. I'll deal with her later on. Dido or Alyssa. Go ahead.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 14, verse 3. Then said he unto me, In the bush I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses, and talk with him, when my people served in Egypt. And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt.
So he spoke to Moses, led Israel out of Egypt with Moses. Go ahead.
Brought him up to the Mount of Sinai, where I held him by a long season.
Right, go ahead.
And told him many wondrous things. And he showed him the secrets of the times.
And he showed Moses the secrets of the times. Keep that in mind. He showed Moses the secrets of the times. The secrets of the times. Go ahead.
And the end.
And he showed Moses the end of the world. The end of our enemy's world. Esau's world. He showed us that also. Go ahead.
And commanded him, saying, these words shalt thou declare.
That's all I want. I want verse 5. So he showed Moses the secrets of the times and the end. He showed Moses the secrets of the times and the end. Genesis 49, verse 1. And we're going to read Moses' words that he was shown in Mount Sinai. Genesis 49, verse 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
So the Lord showed Jacob what would befall his 12 sons in the last days, the way he showed Moses what would befall us in the last days. So when Jacob showed his sons, he showed Moses, the Most High showed Moses what he showed Jacob and what Jacob showed to his sons, our forefathers. So Moses is showing us what he saw. He wrote down what he saw. He wrote down Jacob speaking to his 12 sons regarding what would happen to them in the last days. Now, I want you to keep that history in mind. Keep in mind, this is going into Jacob speaking to his 12 sons. We're going to revisit this later on. Jacob speaking to his 12 sons. Jacob prophesying to his 12 sons. Keep that in mind. Go ahead.
Gather yourselves together, and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father.
All right, that's all I want. All I want was verse 2. Now, let's get wisdom. Deuteronomy 33, verse 13. This is Moses also. Deuteronomy 33, verse 13.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 13. And of Joseph he said, blessed of the Lord be his land, for the precious things of heaven, for the dew, and for the deep that coucheth beneath.
So this is a blessing that Moses brought upon Joseph, regarding Joseph and his sons in the last days. Watch this. So Genesis 49 and Deuteronomy 33 parallel each other. They go hand in hand. The same words that were spoken to us by Jacob are the same words that are spoken to us by Moses, because the Most High showed the words that Jacob spoke unto us in his deathbed, and Moses is repeating them, only giving more detail. All right, read on. We're going to read to verse 17.
And for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun, and for the precious things put forth by the moon, and for the chief things of the ancient mountains, and for the precious things of the lasting hills, and for the precious things of the earth and fullness thereof, and for the goodwill of him that dwell in the bush.
The Most High. Go ahead, the Lord. Go ahead.
Let the blessings come upon the head of Joseph.
Let the blessing come upon the head of Joseph. Go ahead.
And upon the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren.
Going back to Joseph being separated from his brothers in Egypt. Go ahead. Verse 17. So I want.
His glory is like the firstling of his bullock.
Joseph's glory is referring to his sons Ephraim and Manasseh. His glory is like what?
His glory is like the firstling of his bullock.
Go ahead.
And his horns are like the horns of unicorns.
Go ahead.
With them he shall push the people together.
Stop. With the them, who is the them? The them is Joseph's sons. Ephraim and Manasseh is the them. Who does not understand that? The them is Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Read that part again.
With them
them, not him. With them. Them is Joseph. Okay, with them he shall what?
With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth.
So the Lord would use Joseph to push Israel to the ends of the earth. Now, did Ephraim ever push the other tribes to the ends of the earth? In how I put it? How do I ask the question? I'll leave it alone. I'm gonna jump ahead. I'm going too far ahead. Read again. With them what? I don't want to jump ahead. Read again.
With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth.
Go ahead.
And they are the 10,000s of Ephraim.
There we go. The other what?
And they are the 10,000s of Ephraim.
Uh-huh.
And they are the 10,000s, the thousands of Manasseh.
10,000 because Ephraim will be the chief. Ephraim, 10,000, but he's greater. Even though he's younger, he's the greater. Remember that blessing that Jacob put upon him? He put his hand on Ephraim's head first rather than Manasseh's head. So Ephraim will be the greater, and Manasseh will be the second. All right? So the them is referring to Ephraim, the 10,000s of Ephraim, and the thousands of Manasseh. You understand? All right. So now, I want that. That's what I want. Yes, give me wisdom of Solomon now. So with them, he will push the people together to the ends of the earth. Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 17. As I mentioned last week, how Solomon's fleet arrived here. How his fleet, I didn't say Solomon himself, I said his fleet arrived here last week. Y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that at all? All right. So Solomon's fleet, not him. Some of y'all say, Solomon came over here? I never said that. I said Solomon's fleet. His fleet came here. He had a navy. They came here. The comment board is full of foolishness. You're not paying attention. Read again. Let me read it. Verse 17 to verse 21.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 17.
Let's see what Solomon says. Watch this.
For you have given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know how the world was made.
Solomon was shown how the world was made. Did the Lord show Moses that? Did the Lord show Moses how the world was made? Some of y'all saying no. What the hell is happening today? Did the Lord show Moses how the world was made? Yes. Where do you read that? Thank you, Jesus Christ. Wow. Very good. I almost lost hope. All right. Continue. Go ahead.
To know how the world was made.
How the world was made. Go ahead.
And the operation of the elements.
And the operation of the elements. So Solomon understood the operation of elements. That'd be your chemistry. You understood that. Go ahead.
The beginning.
Hold on. Verse 18, slow.
The beginning.
He showed Solomon the beginning. Go ahead.
Ending.
He showed Solomon the ending. Go ahead.
And midst of the times.
Stop. And he showed Solomon the midst of the times. What is midst of the times? Don't call out. What is midst of the times? Go ahead. Jacob. Thank you. Middle ages. Midst of times is the Middle Ages. The white man did not come up with that. The white man did not come up with Middle Ages. Solomon knew about it. Our forefathers knew about it first. The beginning, the end, and he showed Solomon the middle of time. Y'all understand that? Very good. Oh, God. Yes, Cap. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Captain Isaac. Thank you. I'm going to go slow. All right. The beginning, he showed Solomon the beginning. He showed Solomon the ending. And he showed Solomon the midst of the times. Beginning, meaning the world was made. Elements. The ending, meaning Christ showing up. The last days, Christ being born. That comes to last days. Christ is born. Last days, he saw that too. He wrote Christ being born in Song of Solomon. That's a secret. But he wrote that down in Song of Solomon. He wrote about Christ being born, where he was born, what tree he was under. That's in Song of Solomon. So he saw the last days. Of course, he saw. No, I'm not going to say it. Then it says, then you had the midst of times.
So, Deacon.
Yeah.
Can we honestly say that King Solomon saw the exact route that
Yes. Yeah.
that Northern Kingdom took before they even took it?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And we're going to get that. Read on.
To know how the world was, verse 18. The beginning, ending, and midst of the times. The alterations of the turning of the sun.
So Solomon understood how the sun turned, how the sun moves. So Solomon understood that also. Go ahead.
And a change of seasons.
He understood the change of seasons. Meteorology. Go ahead.
The circuits of years.
Understood the years. Go ahead.
And the position of stars.
Astronomy. Go ahead.
The natures of living creatures. And the furies of wild beasts.
Go ahead.
The violence of winds. And the reasoning of men.
Psychology. Go ahead.
The diversities of plants.
Botanology. Go ahead.
And
zoology, nature of living creatures is zoology, I believe. wild creatures, wild beasts, zoology. Violence of winds is meteorology. Reasoning of men is psychology. Diversity of plants is botany. Botany, yes. Go ahead.
And a virtue of roots.
That's herbology. He was an herbalist. That also. Go ahead.
And all such things as are either secret or manifest.
There you go. Read verse 21 again.
And all such things as are either secret or manifest.
All such things are secret or what?
Or manifest.
Or manifest what?
Them I know.
Where we read that earlier? Where was that read earlier? The things that are secret, them I know. We read it earlier. Who's paying attention? Let's see who's paying attention. I don't want the same hands. Yeah. What did it say? In 2 Ezra 14 and 5. It said that Moses was shown the secret. Of what? There you go. So Solomon saw everything Moses saw. And more. Oh, same thing. Pretty much the same thing. And more, and more, yes. And more. You understand? So Solomon saw what Moses saw. And Moses saw in Deuteronomy, he saw the 10,000 of Ephraim and the 1,000 of Manasseh take the rest of the people to the ends of the earth. You understand that? So if Solomon saw us take us to the ends of the earth, he knew there was another part of the earth. Because the so-called white man thought the earth was what? And if you go to the other side, what happened to you? Because they're retarded. But we're not retarded. We knew there was the other side of the earth. We knew that. We always knew. Now, did Solomon share that with the other nations? No, he did not. That's why we read earlier last week that only his fleet came here, not Hiram. Only his fleet came here. You understand that? Yes, sir. He didn't bring heathen over here, as we're going to read further on. Give me Wikipedia. I'm going to go somewhere else after this because I know people hate Wikipedia. I'm only going there for one reason and one reason alone, because dates vary. I'm using this because dates vary. Oftentimes you'll find one date, it varies from the other, but usually it rounds each other off. It kind of is somewhat similar. Wikipedia. Let's go to Wikipedia and type in Solomon. I'm going to go somewhere more concrete after that anyway, but I'm just going to go there for the purpose of just to show that oftentimes dates vary, but not too much. Will you only place you'll find where dates vary, which is the worst? Me and Captain Gerald tried it. We almost lost our minds. It would be a medication. Was Egypt. God, Egypt is horrible. Horrible. 400 years off. That's why you got to do with the Bible. You got to. When you come to Egypt, Bible. Anything else?
That's why they mix up the history.
That's right. The Hyksos stuff, all that's confusion. When it comes to captivities, for the most part, it's accurate. When you get to Egypt, Esau messed that up. He ruined it. And Manito also, they used him. He over-exaggerated stuff. He a liar too. Yeah, Wikipedia Solomon. I'm going to go, and also give me Britannica Solomon. That's more concrete for you haters out there who hate Wikipedia. Oh, Wikipedia can be altered. Okay, I know it can. But one thing that you haters don't understand is that Wikipedia presents you with references. When you go to the bottom of Wikipedia, it gives you the sources from which the information is cited from. But you're too slow for that. You're too slow to understand that, so I'll leave it alone.
And Deacon,
yes,
it's often spoken about Africans traveling to the New World prior to the Israelites, because they even tried to argue that as well.
They tried that, but it wasn't Africans.
Showing that Solomon, and with every trading post, Solomon's like every adventures, Solomon set up trading colonies,
right?
Trading posts.
Mm-hmm. And last week we read earlier that Solomon opened up a route that was safe. Remember, they had routes also, they were more dangerous. Solomon opened up routes that were safer for travel and trade and business. I brought that out last week. So Solomon had wisdom of everything, routes, water currents, all of that, weather. Because when you're a sailor, you got to know these things. You have to know navigation. You have to understand water, weather. All that stuff is a factor in sailing and business and trade. So Solomon had wisdom of all of that stuff, where things were. You got to understand, Solomon had access to a land that no man knew about but he himself and the Lord and Moses. So he had access to all the resources on this side of the world that no one else had. And other places I'm going to bring out earlier, other places I'll bring out later. So Solomon was pretty much like a tycoon. He was a freaking business genius. You understand? But Solomon knew about the Americas, and I'm going to prove that further on in the series. What I asked you to get? Wikipedia? You got it? Yeah, read that. Who's going to read for me? Solomon. Go up to the top. No, to the top. Let me see. Yeah, no. Go down. Let me see if it gives his reign, the dates of his reign. All I want is a date. Go down. Biblical account, chronology, blah, 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 blah. Go down. It's just showing the bottom. Go down. It ain't showing the date. Go up. When he reigned, wait, go back down. When he reigned, it should give a date. Go down. I only want it for the date. I'm not reading all this nonsense. It's a waste of time to me. Got white. Oh God, jeez. Go back up. It's cut, right? Go back up. Let me see. If they don't have it, that's fine. I just wanted to show how they show varying dates. Let me see. Right there. There we go. I knew it. Damn. Chronology. Read that. Chronology.
The conventional dates.
Stop. The reason why it says conventional dates is, remember, dates vary. So they're saying for the most part, or conventional dates. Go ahead.
The conventional dates of Solomon's reign are derived from biblical chronology and are set from about 970 to 931 BC.
All right, so it gives us 970 to 931 BC. All right, so that's around what? That's a little before, a little after 1000 BC. I told y'all last week, focus on 1000. You're gonna find out all the time. 1000 BC, 1000. That's David leading into Solomon. So you got 970 to 931. You understand that? I got it? Now go to Britannica now. Let's see what that gives us. That's all I wanted this for. I don't want anything else. You can drop that out. I'm going back there again. Britannica.com. And you can go to start at Palestine. We're going to end at waterways. Start at Palestine, end at waterways. You got Britannica, Solomon. Hopefully they don't charge us for that. It's on the charge you now. For our free trial. I deal with free trials. Charge you just to read a page. You're crazy. Right there. Start from Palestine. So go down. Well, these things we know. So we're going to start from where it says Palestine. Go down. Palestine, right there.
All right.
Matter of fact, go back up, see if it gives us the dates of his reign. Go up. See what it gives us the dates of his reign.
It says 10. Go up.
Remember, it said conventional.
It says 10th century BC.
No, it said flourished 10th century BC. During David's time. Go down. All right, go down to, let me see. Hold on, let me see something, let me see. 9 chapters about David. Go down. All right, go to Palestine. I might start from there. That's why I said go there. I forgot why I wrote this down. It'll come to me as I read it. Palestine, we're going to stop at waterways.
Palestine was destined to be an important center because of its strategic location for trade by land and sea.
See, that's the Palestine was an excellent area or strategic area, best for trade, best for, close this out, best for trade by land and sea. Go ahead.
It alone connects Asia and Africa by land.
Palestine alone connects Asia and Africa by land. Connects Asia and Africa by land. Connects Asia and Africa by land. Connects them by land. What does that mean? Who knows what that means?
Come on, brothers.
Who knows what that means? Connects Asia and Africa by land. What does that mean? Who can tell me what that means? None of y'all know what that means.
We've been going over this, brothers. Pay attention.
It connects Asia and Africa by land. Asia, not Asia as in China, Japan.
Exactly.
Asia as in the East.
Remember, Asia
Some of y'all
Minor.
like, oh, okay. Gosh.
Asia Minor.
Asia means Asia Minor, the East. Asia means the East.
Includes
like
Palestine,
Oriental. Palestine, right.
which is called what?
Now, I want new hands. I got you ready. Come on, stand up.
Soldier.
Yes.
It's saying that it's connected, saying that that part was still considered Africa.
Thank you.
Exactly.
It's the same landmass. It's the same landmass. Africa and the Near East is one landmass. Esau came and built that Suez Canal. Oh, it's different. It's separate. You have Middle East.
And
Where's Middle North? Where's Middle South? Where's Middle West? Where's that at? There is no Middle East. There is none. Go ahead.
You notice how they say it connects alone Asia and Africa by land.
Right.
So that's what threw everybody off. They thought it was talking about Asia meaning China and
Right.
Japan.
No.
Not knowing Asia Minor. These were names, terminologies that Esau gave later on to confuse the mass.
Right.
So don't get it twisted.
Right. So it says connect Asia and Africa. Go ahead.
And along with Egypt.
Along with Egypt. It's all connected. All one land. Go ahead.
It is the only area with ports on the Atlantic, Mediterranean, and Red Sea, Indian Ocean waterways.
See that? That's Solomon's routes. It says the Atlantic, Mediterranean, because Mediterranean Sea, Solomon's fleet was where? It's on Tarshish. Tarshish is in the Mediterranean Sea, and it flows out to the Atlantic Ocean. Then Solomon's Ezion-Geber flowed into the Red Sea and gets you into the Indian Ocean. So he had Atlantic Ocean on lock for trade, and Israel had the Indian Ocean on lock for trade, going into the Pacific Ocean. Now understand, we have both oceans for trade, both. Solomon had knowledge of both the seas, and lands in both seas. Old world and the new world, yes. Go ahead.
And you know, Deacon,
waterway, I said waterways. We're going to stop there. We're going to go down, find a date now. Look for the date while he's talking. Go ahead.
And you know, Deacon, as Solomon established trade routes to the Indus region valley, Israelites stayed back. Because when you establish a trade route, when you traded for gold, like when you went selling for the gold of Ophir, you don't just excavate a land and take the gold out of 1 year and that's it.
Right.
No, they have to settle. It's called settlement. And after that, they take the resources from the land and people begin to live there. That's why you have parts of Africa and communities set up in that Israel migrated to, or even ran when Christ ran to Egypt. Why? Because there's Israelite communities already set up.
Right.
Likewise with America. As a Solomon established trade routes in America, you have communities already established prior from his trading. So that's why when Northern Kingdom came over there, 300 years later, there's already people living there.
Right. Right. Go back. You found the dates?
Yes, sir. We found a date. Pull that up. Go down to Israel. This is under Solomon.
Reign.
Keep going. Israel. All the way down. Right here.
Right. All right.
Israel, either of two political units in the Old Testament, the United Kingdom of Israel under the kings Saul, David, and Solomon, that lasted from about 1020 to 922 BC.
See, 1002, 922. Go ahead.
Or the northern kingdom of Israel, including the territories of the northern tribes, all except Judah and part of Benjamin.
And Levi also later on. Go ahead.
That was established in 922 BC as the result of a revolt led by Jeroboam the first.
I go down. Let me see. It's not giving you the Solomon's date. That's Jehu and Omri. His reign, the day of his reign. Go up. No, and that's ending. I want beginning. Okay, well I have, when I read this before, it had 975 to 9 something. When I read it from here. Why it's giving me a hard time now. Type of 975. Find in page 975. Right there we go. Flourished. 975 to 926. That's fine. 975 to 926. See that? So it's a little off. So it has 975, so it's about 5 years more it gives. And less. Understand? So Wikipedia said 970, 931. This gives 975, 926. It's round off. You understand? Round off. A lot better than Egypt, I assure you. So now, let's go to 2 Ezra 13, verse 40.
The book of 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king.
This is when Israel split into two kingdoms. We read that just now, a few seconds ago, about the splitting of the kingdoms. Northern kingdom, or Israel, was taken captive by the Assyrian king. Go ahead. Under the reign of King Hosea. Go ahead.
Whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive.
Salmanasar V led us away captive. Go ahead.
And he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land.
Now you'll find historically that during this time, when the Assyrians rose up, Northern Kingdom fled to a lot of places. Those who chose to stay were taken captive into his Assyrian provinces. Those who ran away before he can get his hold of them, we ran to a number of different areas, which we'll eventually go into later on in time. Not my series, but maybe later other series to follow after this one. Go ahead. Or Captain Jarrell has some also. Go ahead.
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
They were going to what?
Leave the multitude of the heathen.
So that's how we know that Hiram did not come over here. Because if they knew heathen were over here, they wouldn't come over here. So they were going to come to a place where only we knew about. Go ahead. Read on.
And go forth into a further country.
Go ahead.
Where never mankind dwelt.
Where never mankind dwelt. Now, I'm hearing rumors that this place is referring to Arabia or parts of Africa that have been untouched. Okay. Here's a question. How many sons did Noah have? How many sons did Noah have? Three sons. Let's name them together. You had Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? Which son took America? Was it his baby mama on the side? Was it his side chick's son? Which son was that? Cam? Was it Cameron on that side that took this side of the world? No. No one had this side of the world. No one. You understand? That's why it's called the New World, right? Because no one had it over here. You understand? Old world, because people were there since the beginning of time. That's the old world. You understand? New world means no one was there. Old means everybody was there. When you read Garden of Eden, is Arabia in there? Yes. Arabia is there. You had Abraham's sons, Midian, they took part of Arabia. Shem's lineage, Joktan, they took part of Arabia also. So you can't count Arabia. Then you go to Africa. Ham had Africa. You had a group, I'm going to deal with them later on. The oldest, South Africa was taken, undeniably, I bring that out today, undeniably taken. West Africa was taken. Northeast Africa was definitely taken. North Africa was taken. So which part? Central? That was taken too. So you got to leave that out. You have the Blue Nile, Garden of Eden, Blue Nile, White Nile. People dwelt among them areas, right? So you can't include that. It doesn't say a part of land, never mankind dwelt. It says a land, never mankind dwelt. Not parts of land, never mankind dwelt. Never inhabited. Never inhabited. You understand? Now, read, what verse was that? 40? 41.
Verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Because Moses had already prophesied to them that Ephraim and Manasseh will do what? Bring them where? To the ends of the earth, the other side of the world. Because we knew the earth was not flat. We knew that. We were going to fall off. We knew that. Now, Jeremiah 49, verse 1. So Shalmaneser V conquers us. In fact, Assyria's uprising forced many of us out of fear to flee into foreign lands to escape that captivity. Those of us who remained in the land, we fell victim to this, ended up being taken into Assyrian provinces, and some of us were eventually able to migrate from them areas and yada, yada, yada. But, well, that's later on. Let's get Jeremiah 49. I'm trying to keep it in. I'm trying to bring too much out. It's hard not to say everything. Jeremiah 49. Yeah, too much history in between. Jeremiah 49, verse 1. Give me that map again, Bible Atlas from last week, regarding the 12 tribe land allotments that I gave y'all from the Bible Atlas. I want that. Jeremiah 49, verse 1.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 1. Concerning the Ammonites.
Concerning who?
The Ammonites.
Now, we brought out in class that the heathen history knows that Ammon is Japanese. The Ammonites are the so-called Japanese today. Ammonites, go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, hath Israel no sons? Hath he no heir? Why then doth their king inherit Gad?
How was Ammon able to inherit Gad, our land? Because remember, the land mass is what? Passed on to us and our sons and their sons, our inheritance. That land was our inheritance. So how was Ammon able to gain possession of Gad's land? Because we went off. We lost our land, you understand? So during the time when Israel went off, Israel would go into idolatry, and what would we do? We would oftentimes do what with the nations in idolatry. What would we do? Yes, stand up. Mic's off. Okay.
We would mix with them.
We would mingle with them,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
So Gad had a thing where we would mingle. We mingled. Give me the map. Let's see who's next door to Gad. Go to Gad. Keep in mind. Is that what I wanted? Go to the other one. Okay, yeah, go blow it up. Blow it up. I can see Gad and Ammon. All I want is just blow it up. Move everything else. Everything else is irrelevant to me. Go down. Just go. Just give me the right side. Yep. Okay. Purple is Gad. See that? And Ammon is right next door. So when Northern Kingdom went into idolatry, what were they doing? Mingling with the nations. Who they mingle with? Ammon's right next door. Go up now. Go up. No, I'm sorry. Go down. Stop. You have Reuben here. He's next to Ammon also. Who's under Reuben? Go down to the bottom. You have Moab there. So I'm showing you that Northern Kingdom neighbored these two particular Asian nations here. Give me Jeremiah 48, verse 11 now. But I want to focus on Gad, though. Gad's what I want to focus on. For Jeremiah 48, verse 11, yes.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 48, verse 11. Moab hath been at ease from his youth.
Moab was living good for a while. They were untouched for a while. Go ahead.
And he has settled on his lease.
His lees is his liquor, his wine. He's sitting back. He got the strong liquor. He's chilling. He's sitting back, kicking back. He good. Go ahead.
And hath not been emptied from vessel to vessel.
And Moab has not been emptied from vessel to vessel. I mean, you take water. Let's say I got a glass of water, right? And I have an empty cup right here. And I take that water and I pour that water from one cup into another, right? Now the water's in this cup. You understand? Will there be remnants of water in this cup right here? Yes, there would. But most of them are where? In this cup. You understand? Go ahead. So they're empty from vessel to vessel. Watch this.
Now that hath he gone into captivity.
Now that has he gone. So the being empty from vessel to vessel means being what? Going from what? From captivity to captivity. You understand? That's what he's talking about. Watch this.
Therefore his taste remained in him.
Therefore his taste remains the same. Because he wasn't put into captivity as much. So when you are empty from vessel to vessel, or you do go into captivity, what happens to your taste? It gets diluted. Because it's being mixed around. You understand? Watch this.
And his scent is not changed.
But his scent is not changed, meaning his taste is different. His taste is different, but he's still Israel. What does that mean? What's he saying here in this verse? Who gets it? Regarding captivity. What happens to you in captivity? Who gets it? His taste remained in him, and his scent is not changed.
Think
carefully. Read again.
Moab. I think because verse 1, they're throwing it off.
Verse 1, let me verse 1.
No, sorry.
Read again.
Moab hath been at ease from his youth, and he hath settled on his lease. He hath not been empty from vessel to vessel.
He has not gone from captivity to captivity. Go ahead.
Now that hath he gone into captivity.
Go ahead.
Therefore his taste remained in him.
His taste remained in him. Go ahead.
And his scent is not changed.
And his scent is not changed. So Moab's scent is not changed. I mean, Moab is good. You understand? I'm going to do Moab for now, so I won't confuse y'all. Therefore his taste remained in him, and his scent is not changed. Moab didn't go into captivity. He wasn't put from vessel to vessel. So his taste remained in him. His scent is the same. Y'all understand that part? Yes, sir. So now with Israel, let's flip it to Israel now. Has Israel been put from vessel to vessel? Has Israel gone from captivity to captivity? So obviously for us, what? The taste will be different and the scent will be different. But we still be us, correct? What is that saying? What does that mean? Yes. Pass it to him.
Israel is a cake unturned, light and dark.
Come on, right? Go ahead.
Different shades of brown.
Thank you. Israel looks different. We'll vary. We'll vary in features. We're going to vary based upon being from captivity to captivity, migrations, into assimilating, integrating. We're going to change. Moab was good at this point. Eventually, Moab mixed also. But during this time, they were good. But Israel was not good. Israel always intermingled. Y'all understand what I'm saying to y'all? What do you have? Yeah, read that. That's fine. Yeah.
The book of Hosea, chapter 8, verse 8.
Yeah.
Israel is swallowed up.
Right.
Now shall there be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure.
See? A vessel wherein there's no pleasure. There'll be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein there's no pleasure. Because wherever Israel is, regardless of how they look, they're isolated. Regardless of how they look. Oh, because heathens know that is not us. That's a nigger. They won't say it that way, but they know. You understand what I'm saying? But we'll get to that. Yeah, later on.
Because when you swallow something, you consume them.
Right. When you swallow, you consume it.
You take the nutrients out from them.
Right.
Look at Israel. If you look at our features, we've been consumed. The nutrients been taken out from us.
Right.
That's why we look like the other nations.
Give me Explorers. Pages 58. I forgot to block that page. Damn it. If you can, don't put the page on the screen. Because I believe that the name of the book is on the top of the page. Just cut the bottom off if you can. If possible. Yeah, exactly. Do it that way. I'm sorry, enemies. I'm not giving you the books. I'm sorry. It's never going to happen. It's going to see page. That's all you're going to see is page. Not an author, not a title, not a cover, nothing.
Don't email us today either.
The answer is no. Emphatically no. No.
I don't have it, you don't have it.
All right, so this is giving you the rundown of what we went over last week regarding Solomon's fleet and his journeys. From that page, as King Solomon made a navy of ships in Ezion Geber. We went over this you remember this from last week? I'm not going to read it because it's redundant. I'm not going to go over the same thing again and again. Go over to the right. Go to the bottom. Solomon, you might wonder why these... All right, go over to the left, read the bottom paragraph to the left, and then we'll go to the right. Read that.
These biblical passages give the only documented evidence we have of King Solomon engaging in a naval
Expedition.
in the following passages from the Hebrew Bible.
Blow it up, bring it up some so he can read it. You can't see the logos there. Move it over. No. Move it over to the left.
Move from the logo, man.
Bring it up.
The Tanakh provide essentially the same story.
Hold on. Okay. Go over to the right now. That's better. Go to the bottom. I don't want that. Read that last week. Go to the bottom, right there. Yes.
You might wonder what these obscure biblical passages have to do with our story of the peopling of America.
See? The author's telling you. You're wondering, why am I bringing this out regarding the peopling of America? Go ahead.
There is a clue in the American Southwest that mariners during the time of King Solomon may have visited the New World and left a record of their visit there. Now,
last week, I showed y'all that Los Luna stone. Last week. Go over to next page. We're going to read the 64. Page 60 now. Let me see if this book actually even has the title of the book itself. I don't think it does. Let me see. Yeah, it does. So just keep it like that. Go to page 60. I gave you all the pages. I sent all of those. Page, yeah. 60. Sent them in pairs. I know I sent it.
So you have the Los Luna stones and the Paribas stone.
Paribas stone, yes.
Paribas stone. So the Los Luna stones during the time of Solomon. The Paribas stone is during the time of Esdras. 2 different journeys. 2 different expedition.
Got it? You found it? I know I sent it. I sent it yesterday. So far, I'll just recap while they're doing this. Solomon's fleet had knowledge of this side of the world. They had knowledge of it. And basically, Solomon had knowledge of different land masses and so forth. He had knowledge of the seas, the lands, end of times, beginning of times, middle of time. He had knowledge of all those things. So he was able to bring his fleet over here. Okay? And he knew that because the same thing that was shown to him, was shown to Moses as well, regarding them coming over here. And it was also shown to Jacob also. So the same thing. But Moses gave more detail to us than what Jacob gave us in Genesis 49. I didn't send that one? Oh, God. I know I sent that page. Let me look at it. Let me look. Hold on. Let me see something. Let me see. Say something real quick. I gotta look for this.
Hey, that's why we tell the other camps, everybody that's saying that the Northern Kingdom is not the Israelites. Listen, keep your mouth shut. Historically, when it comes to IUIC, there's nobody that could touch us when it comes to the records, the books. We know what we're talking about. When the 12 tribes were established, it wasn't established just about a puff of air. No, there's things in history that Esau, the other nations, have records that they have hidden of our own history. So when we bring out these books, these are not black scholars. Black people doesn't have access to these records. So that's why all these records that we're reading from is prior to our emancipation. So we don't have access to these libraries. So when we bring these things out, yes, these are factual and coincides with the Bible. So even though one verse might say something like when Deacon brought out in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7, verse 17, Solomon knew all things. So do you think Solomon being the wisest man on earth, that the Most High is going to give him the wisdom, just give Northern Kingdom the wisdom and not Southern Kingdom? The wisdom of how to journey to the other side of the world? No. Solomon already knew. And Deacon, I know you probably have that in the books, that Northern Kingdom had the map based upon what Solomon left behind. I know they had to. So, yeah, so like we tell people, just listen, get your pencil, get your papers, all you yayas out there, sit down, be quiet, and learn.
Yeah, and tell your wives to be quiet, too. You black-only Israelites, tell your wives to be quiet. The main ones behind that is you, a woman, talking that stupidness out their
Keep
mouth.
your woman in check.
Could have muzzled them or something.
We don't want to hear her anymore. We don't hear none of y'all Negroes anymore.
Your wife's hand with your behind, talking like a puppet, talking to you like this. Got it? All right. You got 60 through 64? Nope. 60 to 64. No, 60 to 68. I thought I sent these. You sure I ain't sent those? Oh, boy. I'm still using the other thing from now on. This thing get cut off. Let me see. So Give me Deuteronomy 33. While they're doing that. Deuteronomy 33, I think it's 29. While they're doing that. I thought for certain I sent that. Guess not.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency. And thy enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places.
So you're going to find that our enemies have been lying to us for a long time. That's why we tend to buy books that are very, very, very old. Very old. All right? We tend to buy books that are very, very old because those are the books that we weren't allowed to read. We buy books that were written when we weren't allowed to read, and we buy books that are, for the most part, when we weren't allowed in certain parts of the libraries to begin with. You weren't even allowed in certain parts of libraries during the early 1900s. So we buy that too. Those are very important. And also regarding Dido, Alyssa, she fled from her brother around 800 BC. That's way after Joshua. There was no war going on. These idiots on the comment board, y'all retarded, man. Dido took place after Solomon and so forth. That was 800s. Solomon was 900s. David was 1000s, and Saul was before that. Dido was 800s. So Joshua and all that, you guys don't just need to be quiet on the comment board. Stop talking. You're an idiot. Don't know anything. What is it at? What does it say? It says secrets. More secrets shown to thee, the men. Give me that. Sirach. Taking it slow because I know there's a lot of stuff. So I'm taking my time. Sirach 3. Yeah, read that.
Sirach chapter 3, verse 22. But verse 21. Seek not out the things that are too hard for thee.
Right, so the things I'm bringing out, I tend to, some things you touch on with a what's the term, grain of salt. Some things you gotta be mindful of. Some bones, so you gotta be very careful. If you don't go with the scriptures, don't touch it. Don't deal with it. Go ahead.
Neither search the things that are above thy strength.
Right, some things, if it's too deep, too difficult, don't try to be deep and go into it, to leave it alone. It has to go with the scriptures. It has to go with the Bible. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Some brothers lose their mind. They go crazy with books. I don't do that. If you don't go with the scriptures, I don't entertain it. Go ahead.
But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence.
So the Most High says the things that are given you, the commandments and laws, focus on those things. History is good, but the commandments are the most important. Go ahead.
For it is not needful for thee to see with thy eyes the things that are in secret.
Right, the things that are in secret. Go ahead.
Be not curious in unnecessary matters.
Right, go ahead.
For more things are showed unto thee than men understand.
For more things are shown unto you than men understand. A lot of things are bringing out in class this week, last week, and Lord's will tomorrow on a radio show. These things are not meant for brown and black and brown ears, Israelite ears. All right? Not meant for us at all. So this is a blessing to be able to find these things, because oftentimes I find these things, I'm amazed. I'm like, wow, they really had this in the book. This is insane. They're sitting there because they want their children to know that who they have in captivity, to maintain that supremacy over us. You got to make sure your children have knowledge of the things that you know, so your children don't forget, and you maintain that power for a long period of time. You almost done? You done? What page you got so far? You can start now. Let's just send it as you go along. All right, go to 60 now. Go to page 60. Page 60. As you can just send it as you go along.
Blow it up.
Blow it up. Okay, this picture of Solomon and his throne is not nearly doing it justice. We got to do better than this. We got artists in Israel, y'all got to do better. This is garbage. This is nothing. The lions, we got to do better. This is nonsense. We got a peacock there, all that. Brothers take them in order that, artists take them in, we do that.
Captain OC.
Yeah, somebody.
Team.
Take that. Fix that. Go ahead. Go down to the bottom.
King Solomon on his throne. Historians and biblical scholars have never satisfactorily determined where the land of Ophir was. From the biblical accounts, we know that King Solomon and Hiram, who was king of Tyre, formed an alliance that made Hiram's experienced seamen available to Solomon for a joint trading enterprise.
Right. Go ahead.
They sailed on ships commissioned by Solomon to Ophir.
Right. That's well. Most scholars agree that Ophir will be around the Indian Ocean, India. Go ahead. Most scholars say that. Some say America. Very few say America. Very few come across that. Very few. But most scholars agree it's the area in the Indian Ocean or India itself. Go ahead.
Returning in 3 years with great treasures of gold.
So, like Captain was saying earlier, we spent 3 years. And he said we didn't just come back home. We spent 3 years away, gathering all the stuff and bringing it back. It was 3 years journey. All right. Go ahead.
Silver, precious stones, ivory, apes, sandalwood, and
Next page over. We brought this out last week. All right.
And D.
Yeah.
They think that we spent 3 years by ourselves, just men alone.
Right.
No, that's not happening. Even in war, the Most High had us, there's laws based upon, like I said, we set up that anytime we went to war, we could take a concubine based upon not committing or going to homosexual acts.
In that land. Right.
In that land.
Yeah.
So you don't think that Solomon's going to have men go to, like I said, to the Americas by themselves for 3 years, excavating the resources? No. What do you think? He's going to have
Not the
women
Americas.
along with them.
Not the Americas. Other side. They ain't bring no heathens over here. Not heathens over here. They brought.
I'm talking about when we went to migrate to America. We made a journey to America.
Right. Oh, yes. So our women.
Yes, our women.
Yeah.
No, not the heathen woman. Our
Concubine.
woman.
He said our
No,
woman.
I'm use that as example.
Oh, okay.
How like during war, you meant like because we like I said because we'll be sanctioned at an area for long enough. The Most High had us take concubines so that we didn't partake in homosexual activities. So in like manner, when we make these long journeys, you think the Most High allowed the men to go by themselves? No. So that's what furthers my point. And when we went to these locations, we brought our women along with us.
Right.
you ready, D?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm trying to find it. Go ahead.
And peacocks. The biblical text seems to imply that the ships were based at Tarshish, a Phoenician city of that name set at the mouth of the modern-day Guadalquivir River in Spain.
Uh-huh.
That river flows into the Gulf of Cadiz, near modern-day Jerez de la Frontera.
Uh-huh.
However, some scholars assert that the biblical reference to ships of Tarshish merely refers to a type of ship rather than the point of departure of the ships on the voyage to Ophir. Still, others identify Tarshish with Carthage and other locations.
Right, like Sicily or southern Spain. Go ahead.
So we cannot...
But most agree that Tarshish is Sicily. Some say southern Spain. Doesn't matter. It's still a landmass in the Mediterranean. Either or. Those are neighboring areas. Go ahead.
So we cannot positively identify the point of origin of the joint expeditions of Phoenician and Israelite traders.
Right, but we can because it's primarily the Indian Ocean. Go ahead. We read that earlier somewhere else. Go ahead. Keep going, 61.
They, Portugal, worshiped the Phoenician deities Baal and Astarte. The Phoenicians founded the city of Cadiz, modern-day Cadiz in Spain, in 1110 BC, about the time of King Solomon. One of the Phoenicians' exports, purple
So
dye...
he's giving you a round. Where we at? Go back up again.
Top paragraph.
Read it again. The Phoenicians what?
The Phoenicians founded the city of Gades, modern-day Cadiz in Spain, in 1110 BC, about the time of King Solomon.
Right, so they give you a round off from the time of King Solomon, around that time, around David Solomon's time. Go ahead.
One of the Phoenicians' export, purple dye extracted from the murex shell, was prized in all the Mediterranean kingdoms, and the Greek word for blood red, phenos, is the origin of the name Phoenicians.
Right, red. Go ahead. Red was because of the dye they had over there in that area. Go ahead.
They imported tin from modern-day Britain for use in making bronze.
So this scholar here, unfortunately, is dividing Phoenicians from Israelites. That's what he's doing. But as you read along, but don't worry about that stuff. We'll get to that later on. We already explained earlier that Phoenicians were Israelites. But I said earlier, some scholars say that the Phoenicians is Canaanites when they're not. Canaanites never referred to themselves as Phoenicians. The Greeks refer to the Semite or Israelites as Phoenicians. But some scholars refer to the Canaanites as Phoenicians. They're not. But go ahead.
By 450 BC, Hanno of Carthage, a Phoenician, had sailed as far south along the African...
Right. Hanno of Carthage is where the word Hannibal comes from. Hannibal is an Israelite. They all share those names. Hanno, Hamilco, that's Israel. These are Israelites here. So he was a Phoenician, he uses Israelite. Or Punic. The word Punic and Phoenician are the same word. Or Hebrew. This is Israelites. So Hanno was an Israelite that sailed to Britain in 450 BC. That was us. He sailed to Britain, all right, in 450 BC. That was Jake. Hanno was Jake. That's the great-great-great-great-grandfather of Hannibal and them. This is later on in time. Go ahead.
Hanno of Carthage, a Phoenician, had sailed as far south along the African Atlantic coast as Guinea.
Right, so he sailed along Africa. He went upwards along the British Isles. Go ahead.
They may also have circumnavigated Africa on a voyage that departed the Red Sea under sponsorship of an Egyptian pharaoh as early as 600 BC.
Go ahead. Next page. Let me see where you at. What page are you on? All right, go ahead. These are short, so don't worry about it. You go ahead.
Phoenicians made extensive use of writing and shared their alphabet, a precursor to the modern alphabet.
Right, the Israelites, Phoenicians, we created the alphabet. The alphabet came from us. The Greeks and Romans learned alphabet from them. Alphabet. Go ahead.
With the Israelites of the first millennium BC, they spoke a language of the Semitic group that also included the language of the Israelites.
That's why they refer to Canaanites as Semites based upon their language dialect. But they're not Semites. They're Hamites. Go ahead.
The close cooperation between Hiram and Solomon included not only the joint maritime trading expeditions, but also the building of the first great temple in Jerusalem. Back to the American Southwest, near the small town of Los Lunas.
See, Los Lunas, go ahead.
About 20 miles south of Albuquerque, New Mexico, stands Mystery Mountain. Ancient petroglyphs and rock paintings exist all over the Southwest. The Albuquerque area is no exception. Most petroglyphs depict sun discs, snakes, birds, ducks, stick figures of people, or geometric designs. Native Americans produced those artworks, and American Indians acknowledged them as the work of their ancestors when questioned by early European explorers and later American settlers who pushed west after American independence.
So Native Americans said that was, we drew that. There's the pictures right there. We drew those things, those petroglyphs. Watch this. Next page, 64.
However, on Mystery Mountain, there is one petroglyph that the Indians do not take credit for and are as mystified about as the non-Indians who have studied it. American settlers first saw this petroglyph in 1800. The petroglyph appeared to be some unknown form of writing inscribed on a volcanic boulder at the base of the mountain. On an area of the boulder about 4 feet by 2 feet, the following inscription appears.
What's it say?
I am Jehovah, the eternal Eloah, your God, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage. You should not have other gods in place of me. You should not make for yourself molded idols. You shall not lift up your voice to connect the name of Jehovah in hate.
God's name in vain. Oh, man. Go ahead.
Remember you the Sabbath to make it holy.
Jump down to the bottom of the image itself. What stone is that called? Go down. What's it say?
The Los Lunas rock.
So Native Americans said, we don't know who made that. They did. They forgot. Go to the next page, 65. We're going to start at this, and we're going to end at Hibbins' Guide. This inscription, and we're going to end at Hibbins' Guide.
This inscription is, of course, not carved in English, nor is it any modern language. The inscription is in an ancient Semitic script with a few Greek letters and some anomalous characters inserted. Although linguistic scholars have advanced a number of theories on how old the inscription is, ranging from 3,000 to 1,500 years, other evidence seems to argue for the older date. In the 1980s, geologist George Morehouse examined the rock, the carved inscriptions, and the natural patina on the surface of the stone. He estimated that the carving was anywhere from 500 to 1,000 of years old.
To thousands of years old. Go ahead.
Further, the rock has settled, tilting to an angle of 40 degrees since it was inscribed, another indication of antiquity. The late Frank Hibbins, a New Mexico archaeologist, examined the inscription in 1933. At that time, he said he found it covered with lichen, and the carved letters were hardly visible. Hibbins said the elderly man who led him to the inscription claimed to have first seen it in the 1880s. The Semitic language of the inscription was not translated until the 20th century, making it unlikely that a hoaxer had carved the inscription prior to its discovery by Hibbins' guide.
So it's not phony. It's not a fake. Not a fake. Go to page 66. Start the text, and we're gonna end next page. Page 66. Start the text. Page 66. Go to the text, and we're gonna end at page 67. Red Sea. So it's Hebrew. It's giving you the 10 Commandments. That's Hebrew. All right. Give you the 10 Commandments on that stone. We read about last week. Page 66, the text, second paragraph. I'm going to end at page 67, Red Sea. Go ahead.
The text seems to be genuine.
It's not fake. Go ahead.
The roughly 80-ton boulder was not a souvenir found in the Middle East and transported to New Mexico. The only non-Native American people known to have been in this area before the 1800s were 16th century Spanish explorers.
Wasn't from them. Go ahead.
They would not have had the capability to write the 10 Commandments in ancient Semitic script.
Right. Go ahead.
Nor would they have had any logical reason to do so.
Go ahead.
On the other hand, Spaniards left numerous inscriptions in their language and Western alphabet in the southwest region of America.
Go ahead.
Accepting that the inscription is genuine.
Accepting that the inscription is genuine. Watch this.
And perhaps of the period of King Solomon.
See? Go ahead.
That leaves the question, who carved the inscription? There seem to be two possibilities. One of King Solomon's servants.
One of King Solomon's sailors did it. Go ahead.
Could have carved the inscription, or it could have been one of King Hiram's shipmen.
Or could have been King Hiram's shipmen that did it. Watch this.
Since they sailed together.
Watch this.
The religious nature of the inscription points to one of the Israelites rather than a
Phoenician.
A Phoenician.
Right. Rather than Hiram's men. I was going to say why. You had it. Go back.
Rather than a Phoenician who would have worshipped Baal, Astarte, or any of their other gods.
Right, so it could have been Hiram's men. It had to be an Israelite man because he wrote the commandments. So a psalmist man wrote it. Go ahead.
Ophir must have been a distant and exotic land to the people of the Mediterranean. There's no way of knowing how many Phoenician Israelite voyages came from the Mediterranean Sea or Iberia to America.
Or of Iberia to America, Spain to America. Watch this.
Nor do we know if any of the men remained in America.
They did. Go ahead.
However, seamen sometimes remain behind in other areas at other times due to willful abandonment of the expeditions or abandonment by the expedition leaders.
So sometimes they would sail in certain areas and they would stay. They would stay there. Go ahead. For different reasons. Go ahead.
Thus it seems possible that one or more of the members of the expedition dispatched by King Solomon could have remained among the Native Americans when his ship returned to the Mediterranean or Red Sea.
He was a Native American. It was the same people. Page 68. We'll get that. We'll prove it. Page 68. We're going to start at we and end at America. The second paragraph. We cannot end at America.
We cannot say that America was the Ophir referred to in the Bible.
It's not. Go ahead.
In fact, some biblical scholars put Ophir east of modern-day Israel, perhaps at a location on the Red Sea. Some think Ophir may have referred to India.
Right, it's in that area. Go ahead.
Ophir remains a point of scholarly debate, and no one has conclusively identified its location. But the inscription of the Ten Commandments on that boulder at Mystery Mountain makes it possible that someone of the time of Solomon, or from a period as recent as 1,500 years ago,
Or 1,000 years ago. Go ahead.
visited modern-day New Mexico. That person knew the ancient Semitic alphabet and the dialect of the early biblical time, as well as an ancient version of the Ten Commandments. If genuine, the Los Lunas rock indicates contact between the old world and the new world, a millennium at least before Christopher Columbus' expeditions to America.
We were here first. We were here first. Now, let's get the next book, The View. I'm not going to say it, but I'll just show it to you if I have to. Did I bring it with me? Yes, I did. This one. Yeah. That one. I got the book in my hand. Page, somewhere on cap. Page 85. Page 85. Wow, man. Page 85. We're gonna read the parts I marked off. I got a bunch of checks on that page. I read this book from cover to cover. It's an excellent, excellent book. It's on the inside. I'll share it among the brothers inside. A reputation, because you Negroes and heathens outside, you ain't never getting these books. And you nothing. Page 85. Now, I said earlier that they said that someone from the old world came over here, right? And they try to say he wasn't Native American. They were separate. No. The guys that came over here were the Native Americans. They arrived here. They're the originals. Page 85. I want in the very top. We can start from the top. And I know I sent y'all that. I
They have it, Deacon.
I have to have that. I know I sent all of these. I mean, freaking filibustering, man. I know I sent you that. Come on. I sent that first, actually. I'm looking right at it. Yeah, I know I sent that. And the name of the book is on top of the page, so don't worry about that. What you see on top of the page, it's not the name of the book, so don't worry about that. It's right. It's right. You see Malcolm prison reformation video. Go up. It's in the top. Okay, reformation video. Malcolm, go down. Not that one. The next one. Under those four. Yes. That's it. I want those 3 pages or 4 pages. It should be 4 pages. It should be 85, 87, 88, and 116. Got it? Please tell me y'all have it. That's it? 85, 87, 88, and 116. 116 is going to be later. But I just want to make sure I have that. All right. Thank you.
Page 85.
Blow it up. I want this page nice and enlarged so everyone can see it clear as day. It's an excellent book. And it goes back as far as 1825. Where were we at in 1825? Where were we at? Slavery. 1825. Read the top. The whole page. What does it say on the top? Bring it to the top. What does that say on top? Of Judah and Israel. Read from the top. The whole page.
Of Judah and Israel. From various authors and travelers.
From various authors and travelers, even before 1825, before Joseph Smith, which was 1830. Go ahead, his nonsense, Mormonism garbage. Go ahead.
From various authors and travelers among the Indians.
Who spent time among the Indians, Spaniards, French, Irish, Dutch, go ahead, British.
The fact that the American Indians are the 10 tribes of Israel will be attempted to be proved by the following arguments.
So these people, various travelers and explorers who spent time among Native Americans, are saying these guys are the lost 10 tribes of Israel. Number one.
Number one, the American natives have one origin.
They all have one origin. They're all one family, despite how they look. They're all one people. They're not Asian here, African, no, all one. Because all of those features that you see among them, some Asian, some Negro, it's found all throughout the Americas. So their features are the same variations all over the Americas. So they're saying these guys are all the same people. Because some look different from them, but they're the same on this side. Some look different from each other on this side. So it's the same origin of the same people. Watch this.
Number two, their language appears to have been Hebrew.
That explains the stones. Go ahead.
Number three, they have had their imitation of the Ark of the Covenant in ancient Israel.
They have their own Ark of the Covenant they carried around. Go ahead.
Number four, they have been in the practice of circumcision.
They circumcised their children. Go ahead.
Number five, they have acknowledged one and only one God.
They called him Yohewa. Now, Avatar, the blue people, they just said Ewa. They try to be slick. Take the Yah out, and says Ewa, Ewa. It's Yohewa. It's the same. Yahweh, Yahuwah, Jehovah. It's the same. Yahweh, it's all the same variations. Go ahead.
Number six, they celebrated.
No, not they.
The celebrated William Penn.
The celebrated William Penn is where the word Pennsylvania comes from. Named after him, William Penn. Okay, watch this.
Gives accounts of the natives of Pennsylvania.
Named after him, go ahead.
Which go to corroborate the same point.
In his books, he says these guys are Israelites. William Penn said these guys, he spent time with them, these guys are Israelites. Go ahead.
Number seven, the Indians having one tribe, answering in various respects to the tribe of Levi.
So there's one particular tribe that acts like the tribe of Levi. Which tribe could that possibly be? We'll get that later on. Go ahead.
Sheds further light on this subject.
Sheds further light on this subject. So one particular tribe of them shows respects or attributes that make them like the tribe of Levi. Who could it be? Which tribe could that be? We doing?
Number eight, several prophetic traits of character given to the Hebrews do accurately apply to the Aborigines of America.
Several prophetic traits of character given to the Hebrews do accurately apply to the Aborigines of America, like them being colonized and enslaved. Go ahead.
Number nine, the Indians being in tribes with their heads and names of tribes affords further light.
Go ahead.
10, they're having something answering to the ancient cities of refuge.
They had cities of refuge over here. Go ahead.
Seems to evince their Israelitish extraction.
11.
Their variety of traditions, historical and religious, do wonderfully accord with the ideal that they descended from the ancient 10 tribes.
Continue.
The reader will pardon if the tax on his patience under this last argument.
So he's saying, okay, this is the last argument. Just be patient with us. Watch this.
Exceeds that of all the rest.
But this last argument exceeds all the others you just read. Go ahead.
1, the American natives have one origin.
Go ahead.
Their language has a variety of dialects, but all are believed by some good judges to be the same radical language.
Hebrew, different dialects. Go ahead.
Various noted authors agreed in this.
Charlevoix,
a noted French writer.
A Frenchman.
Who came over to Canada very early and who traveled from Canada to the Mississippi. In his history of Canada says, the Algonquin and the Huron languages, which he says are as really the same as the French and Old Norman are the same, have between them the language of all the savage.
Is that it? Yeah, skip that. Don't worry about it. Go to 87. So, I mean, they all spoke the same language, and they're all the same people, is what he's saying. Go to page 87. You're going to go to the color of the Indians, and we're going to stop on the next page. 87 and 88. So we're going to start at the color of the Indians. The color of the Indians.
Start at the top, D.
Sean Palmer says the color of the Indians. Hold on. Go down.
Right here.
The color of the Indians.
The color of the Indians generally, says Dr. Boudinot, is red, brown, or copper.
When it says red, it means red bone. They're like mahogany, a brownish red. Brown or copper. Going back to brown also, different shades of brown. Go to the next page. 88. They all share that same complexion. Complexion or shade. '88 to the top. We're gonna stop at one color. Go ahead.
According to climate and the high or low ground. Mr. Adair
is the writer is James Adair of the book called Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. That's Adair. He spent 40 years with them. Go ahead.
Mr. Adair expresses the same opinion.
So the same opinion you read about earlier from other travelers and explorers, he shares the same opinion as them. Go ahead.
And the Indians have their tradition that in the nation from which they originally came, all were of one color.
So where they came from, everybody was all one color where they came from. Go ahead. Us, Israel. Go ahead.
According to all accounts given of the Indians, there are certain things in which all agree.
That's all I want. That's all I want. Yeah, we don't.
This appears in the journals of Mr. Gideon's of his exploring tour. The most distant and barbarous Indians agree in a variety of things with all other tribes. They have their great spirit.
That great spirit is Yahuwah or Yehovah. A great spirit, they call him. Go ahead.
Their high priest.
They had high priests.
Their sacrifices. When going to or returning from war. Their religious dance.
The ghost dance is called. Go ahead.
And their sacred little enclosure containing their most sacred things, though it be but a sack, instead of an ark.
That's all I want. So now, let's go to the online dictionary I sent you. This is the 1828 Oxford Dictionary on the word nigger. And I want you to go to definition 3 regarding Indians. Right, that's it. Is that number 3? Yeah, read that. The definition of nigger from an 1828, I believe it's an Oxford Dictionary or Webster, one of the two. Either or is an old dictionary, 1828. Go ahead.
3A, a dark-skinned person of any origin. In early U.S., usually with reference to American Indians, usually offensive.
They called Native American Indians niggers. They called them niggers too. I keep on denying who they are. White man called them niggas at that time. Genesis 2:7. Usually in reference to Native American Indians, nigger. In a movie called The Revenant, they called them tree niggers. A movie called The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio, they called them tree niggers.
The book of Genesis chapter 2 verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
Which means that a lot of you ignorant niggas that deny them being Israel, you might be one of them. That's the funny part. Ones that's denying Native Americans Israelites might be Indians themselves.
Remember, a lot of the Native American Indians was classified as Judah.
The ones who looked more Negroid were reclassified as Negroes and were shipped and were sent off to different areas of the Southwest and the South and Midwest.
And years ago, Deacon, remember when I visited the reservation? I was speaking to a Gadite chief.
We do that. We visit reservations. We actually go out and travel and visit reservations. Go ahead and continue.
This was like 4 years ago. I visited a Native American reservation. I was speaking to one of the Indian chiefs, and I was asking him...
How did he look?
Oh, he looked just like me.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was asking him, do you have any connections to other reservations so we could possibly teach in them? He stated, why? What for? He says, look out there. He took me outside. He says, look out there in the streets. He said, you see all these people? He says, a lot of people walking around thinking that they're black or not. He said, a lot of them are Native American Indians, not knowing.
Yep.
But we know who. I know I'm Judah, Deacon, just in case it gets,
me too. No praises.
just in case brothers, get it twisted.
All praise to the Lord.
I'm Judah.
Yeah, Jess, you'll be all right. Just put your hand down, Jess. Put your hand down, Jess. Put your hand down. Put your hand down, Jess. Nope. No, Jess. No. No.
Please,
No, Jess.
Deacon,
No.
please.
Just your little feather.
No. Jess is 2 and 7. No.
Judah.
Nope. No. Jess is 2 and 7.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 7.
Yeah.
The Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul.
So Adam was made from the dust of the ground. Adam was a black man. Give me that other book, The Faith. Shoot. Ain't no pages. This is just the cover. I used it in episode 1. Old dictionary about Adam. Ruddy brownness of the earth, why he was called Adam. I want that to show that they know. This book is what year is this book, Jess? 18.
I think like 1860, 1870.
1860. Yeah, we were still slaves. 1860 slaves. We weren't allowed to read that anyway. I brought this out in the very first episode of the radio show. The radio show, episode 1, a pilot. Show that they knew the word ruddy is in reference to brown. Ruddy means brown. All right. Initially meant brown, and Esau changed it to red to be slick and make Adam red like Edom was. That was episode 1 or 2. I think it was episode 2. Right. See it? It was episode 2, maybe? I don't know. Just sent it to him. Just a second. It's like blue highlight. No, that definitely isn't. Is that it? Adam? Sent it to him?
I just sent it.
Yeah, it sent it to them so they can have it. Yeah, that looks like it's it. That's it. Light up. It says Adam was made from the dust of the ground. This is the old Bible dictionary. Let's see what it says. Read that.
Adam. This term means red or ruddy.
So now, again, being the devil he is, does not mean red. It does mean ruddy, but watch what it says. Go ahead.
This term means red or ruddy, and this color corresponds with our brown.
See that? This color corresponds with our brown. Our brown, not red. Esau made it red, but it initially meant brown. Ruddy meant brown. They made red and ruddy the same word. There's 2 different words. Ruddy means brown, red means red. Go ahead.
Why the first man shall have such a name, we are not told.
We know why. Go ahead.
It may be because he had a...
See that right there? Esau is not, it may be, perhaps, possibly. When he says that, it means it is what it is. Go ahead. It may be what?
It may be because he had a brown or brownish complexion.
There you go. Go ahead.
Adam is supposed by some.
No, here we go again. The supposed now. It is what it is. It's not supposed, it is what it is. Go ahead.
Adam is supposed by some to be from Adama.
That's what it means. Adama, go ahead.
The earth.
The earth, go ahead.
And means that Adam was like brown earth, of which his body was made.
That's it. Adam was black. That's it. He's brown, black. That's it. Give me Psalms 106 now. That's why the Native Americans said where we were from, everybody was black. In our area, Israel. Initially, yeah, we were. But over time, Israel mingled themselves among the nations.
The book of Psalms, chapter 106, verse 35.
34.
Verse 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen.
But what?
But were mingled among the heathen.
And did what?
And learned their works.
So while mingling with the other nations, we begin to learn their works. Okay? Go ahead. That's it? Okay, give me Deuteronomy 28, verse 37.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
You shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. Mean our names will be changed. among all nations where the Lord shall lead you. So wherever Israel be scattered, there will be you know that they're Israel based upon the bywords, proverbs that would follow behind them. Okay, like Afro this, Afro that, untouchables, see things like that. Different types of names. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not gonna spoil it. Leave it alone. But just throwing it out there. All right, but we be among all the nations that God will lead us. Now, I'm making references. I'm not gonna leave it. I'm not gonna spoil your thing. I'll make references. Now, I'm not gonna read all of this. It's too much. I'm gonna reference it. When Israel came out of Egypt, we had what was called. We came out of Egypt. The Lord let us out, and we had what was called a mixed multitude came behind us. Y'all remember that? Because you had other nations living in Egypt serving as well. We were the majority of slaves there, but other nations were living in Egypt as well. Did Israel mingle with them? Yes, we did in Egypt. We did. You had a woman named a Danite woman with a heathen son that blasphemed the Lord's name in Leviticus 24. That was a Danite woman, had a heathen son. An Egyptian son, actually. An Egyptian son. Leviticus 24. Write that down if you want. Samson himself, a Danite, like the woman, messed around with heathens and preferred heathens over his own women against his parents' judgment. All right? That was Samson. And messed with prostitutes. This guy was the worst. But he was strong as hell. But he was the worst. Then you had Ruth. Okay? She was property. Ruth was not delivered or saved. She was a business dealing. Okay? The land was passed on to Boaz. He took the land, and the land came with Ruth to raise up seed to his dead brother. She was not some sign of salvation for nations. She was business. She was property. That's what she was. You understand? That's all Ruth was. Nothing more. Moabite woman. Then you had Zimri. Zimri was a Simeonite prince that when Balaam gave counsel, he said, the heathens, Moab and I think Midian said, curse them. He said, I can't curse them. But what I can do is give you counsel on what to do. He told Moab, send in your women. Remember that? He told Moab, that's Numbers 25. Send in your women, and they'll get weak, and their own God will turn on them. Their own God will curse them. So the heathen sent in their women, Moabite women, and we start to do what? Sleep with them and worship Baal Peor, a Moabite god. You understand? So whenever Israel involved themselves in idolatry, we always find ourselves having sex with the other nations because the other nations had sex gods, orgies and so forth, and sexual rituals. So that was inevitable. You had heathen, you had temple prostitutes and all of that, male and female. You worship the phallic symbol, all that stuff is involved. So by default, Israel automatically, when idolatry came along, messed with heathen women or men. You understand? So you had a guy named Zimri, the Syrianite prince, in Numbers 25, and Phineas, it was a Midianite woman. Phineas stabbed through both of them at the same time. Y'all remember that? That's Numbers 25, and Phineas stabbed through them. That's an example of them mixing or trying to. Simeon and Midian. And you had Dan, Simeon, always northern kingdom. There's something wrong with y'all. And you got kept Numbers 31. We try to keep them alive. Moses got mad. Why are these women here alive? Midianite women alive. Midianite women were kept alive. Numbers 31. Then you had the Levite also with the concubine that got raped to death. In Judges 19, the concubine, she was not Jake either. She was a concubine. Then you have Judah, had a Canaanite woman, had his sons. Those children were Israel. Joseph married an Egyptian woman. She was Israel. Moses married an Ethiopian woman. Those kids are Israelites. Esther was racially ambiguous. She passed for a Persian woman. She was you couldn't tell what she was. Both her parents are Benjamin. Mordecai was her cousin. But you couldn't tell what she was, even though both her parents are Benjamin, showing that Israel's features were diverse. You understand? Then you had Solomon the king. You can't forget Solomon. He had 700 wives and 300 heathens. And his son, Jeroboam, his mom was an Ammonite. Ammonitis. No, Rehoboam. Rehoboam was an Ammonite. Her mother was Ammonitis. Rehoboam. Jeroboam was the Ephraim. Then you had Hiram's mother, northern kingdom. Hiram's mother that worked with David and Solomon to build the temple. That was his mom was northern kingdom. His father was not. So I'm giving y'all examples of Israel mixing with the nations, mixing with the nations. Israel did not always stay loyal to each other in terms of marriage. Give me Ezra 9 verse 1 now. So that was Levite concubine. Levite and the concubine was Judges 19. Judah, Joseph, Moses. You read it on your own. Esther, read it on your own. Solomon the king was 1 Kings 11 verse 1. Hiram's mother was 1 Kings 7 verse 3 to 4. Hiram's mother. And I think in Chronicles also it mentions her as well. Ezra 9 verse 1 to 2.
The book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1. Now when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations, even of the Canaanites.
So we have not separated ourselves from the heathens of the lands and doing what?
And the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations.
See what you're doing? So we were married to them and we were doing according to their abominations. It goes hand in hand. Go ahead.
Even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites.
These are all Hamite nations. These are all dark nations here. You understand that? These are all Hamites. He named all Hamites right here. Us mingling with them. Go ahead. I'm going to get that. Go ahead.
The Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites.
Right. We mix around with the Ammonites and Moabites. This is Southern Kingdom doing this. This is Judah also. Judah was doing the same thing. Mixing with Moab, mixing with Ammon. Go ahead. It was common practice in idolatry to go outside the nation. Go ahead.
The Egyptians and the Amorites.
Go ahead.
For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yeah, the hand of the princes and rulers hath been chief in this trespass.
See that? So holy have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Okay, mingle themselves with the people. Give me Ezra now. Go to verse 7.
Since the days of our fathers have we been in a great trespass unto this day. And for our iniquities have we, our kings and our priests, been delivered into the hand of the kings of the lands, to the sword, to the captivity, and to a spoil, and to confusion of face, as it is this day.
There you go again, confusion of face, because Israel again mingled themselves among the nations. Confusion of face. Israel's face is varied as well, based upon the mixing. And so we gave our sons. We took their daughters and also took their daughters for our sons. Israel started to change their features over time. Now, I'm not saying as a whole we did it. It wasn't majority-wise, but Israel was doing it. You understand? We were doing it. Now, get... First Ezra 8, verse 69. Because the guy said, well, see, those are dark nations we mingle with. Ammon and Moab at that time were dark. That's true. But let's get some more detail regarding that list of nations that we mingled with, that we had separated with.
First Ezra chapter 8, verse 69.
Or third Ezra. This is first Ezra 8:59. Go ahead.
Verse 69. The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests and Levites, have not put away from the land the strange people of the land, nor the pollutions of the Gentiles.
Or the abominations. Same thing. Watch this.
To wit, of the Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites, and the Moabites, Egyptians, and Edomites.
They weren't brown. It was white folk. Edomites. We messed around with Edomites also during this time. Took their daughters for our sons and took their daughters for us as wives. You understand? So that's Edom there. Edom ain't mentioned in Ezra, but he mentioned it here. Same history, same thing written down in a little bit more detail. We messed around with Edom also. Read on, verse 70.
For both they and their sons have married with married with their daughters.
Edomite daughters as well. Go ahead.
And the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land.
Mingled. Same thing. Go ahead.
And from the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the great men have been partakers of this iniquity.
All this trespass, Ezra 9 verse 2. Same thing again. Only thing is it mentions Edomites there. Hosea 7:8 now.
Hosea chapter 7 verse 8. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned.
So that's explanatory. It's self-explanatory. He mixed himself among the people, and because of that, he is a cake not turned. Going into their idolatrous practices, also going into them mixing, them looking different. Diverse in shade. You understand? A cake not turned is a cake not turned. I don't understand how that can be confusing. Whether you go to verse 1 or not, it still doesn't knock the fact that they were mixing themselves among the people. From the time messing around with Edom, messing around with Moab, messing around with Ammon, messing around with Spaniards. Doesn't change. Y'all understand? Same thing.
And that's why you see all features of all the features within Northern Kingdom. You see Arabic features in Northern Kingdom.
Yep.
You see Moabitist features in Northern Kingdom, Japanese features in Northern Kingdom. Northern Kingdom, like when the Bible says Israel's like a speckled bird, it sheds further clarification on why the Bible's saying that.
Mm-hmm.
We took on all the attributes of other nations, primarily Northern Kingdom.
Yep.
Judah, like I said, still retained their features,
For the most part, yes.
especially Levi.
Yeah, especially.
Levi mixed with nobody. They retained it from the time of Moses.
The hell with that. We can say to ourselves. Touching nobody.
Levi touched nobody.
You have some exceptions. We have some exceptions. Like, what's his name? That brother, what's his name? That ball player, Griffin.
That's like one out of a million.
He's like a,
maybe.
Griffin is like, what's his name? The ball player? Blake Griffin, that's Levi. And you got Captain Amarai among us too.
He's
Levi. Yeah, Levi too, man.
Well, that we know.
You're gonna be all right, Cap. You're
gonna be all right.
You're gonna be all right, Cap. Give me
He might be Northern Kingdom.
Oh gosh, you ain't right. Give me page 250. It says number 4. It says number 4 conclusion on it. Page 250. Yep, that's it. Read that, please.
Conclusion.
Regarding Native Americans being gooks. I heard people say Native Americans are Asians. You are some idiots. Read that, please.
And so, the question is asked, what of these American Indians? They certainly originated from somewhere. Current studies indicate multiracial origins for the Indians of the Americas.
Because their features varied, but they were all one race. Go ahead.
Clearly, the age-old all came over the Bering Strait theory is no longer valid.
Because there's no evidence. Them coming from Tartary from Asia and crossing an ice bridge that never existed, came to America is a lie. It's no evidence behind it. There's no proof behind it at all. None. Go ahead.
As the author has pointed out in this volume, even blood types and cranial formations vary in many of the tribes.
So their blood types and their cranial formations, how their faces are shaped, go ahead, vary, go ahead.
Suggesting extremely cosmopolitan, multiracial characteristics among our Native Americans.
Extremely cosmopolitan, multiracial characteristics, yet they all have one origin. And it's the same book. No, it's a different book. They all say the same thing. All one origin. But they were the same people. Different features, same people. You understand? Ephraim always mingled themselves. Always. Give me page 13. It's called the medieval. I couldn't afford that if I put it up here. I think it's like $1 billion now. Huh? I should have 13 also. I bought that in case you don't have it. I don't have 13. If you don't have it, I have it here. Page 13, here. So again, I'm showing you that Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom mingled themselves among the nations, and over time, not all, because for the most part, I'll say primarily, the children of Israel are a people of color. That's why we always say black and brown people, because we know that Israel, for the most part, everywhere are a people of color. Brown and black, different shades of brown, to the blackness of black, to the brownness of brown, to the freaking low. You go to the yellow, high yellow, and all the way to the point where they look like they white people. We vary, but it's there. In Israel, those features are there. You understand? You cannot come out your mouth and say Israel is black only after hundreds of years of mingling themselves in all these different foreign lands. You're an idiot. You gotta be slow or something.
We don't listen to black people, D.
Yeah, we
don't listen to black people.
We cannot listen to black people. Or their women. Ever. 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 Page 13. And we're going to read the whole page.
All right, page 13.
Yeah.
Chapter 1. The term empire, Latin imperium, authority.
Now read the parts that's marked. That's the rest.
All right.
Never and in all. Read those.
All right, yes, sir. Never and nowhere has this term been used for the designation of any kind of Judaic state formation. History fails to record any case in which small Semitic tribes living at the meeting point of Africa and Asia created an empire of their own. In other words, conquered neighboring and faraway countries, asserting their authority and might by force of arms, imposing tribute on the vanquished.
Right.
In all the available sources, it is firmly established that the Israelites were constantly persecuted, that they practically at all times over the millennia went from one bondage to another.
Stop. Where's that written at? You read it earlier today. Let's see who's taking good notes and paying attention. Same hand again? No, I want new hands. I'll start calling on people. No, he's not. He ain't new. But you did. Who else? Who else? I know you called Jake. I know somebody else. I'm going to start calling in the front. Oh, all right. Oh, brothers raising their hands in the spirit. All right. Yeah. He did too.
He answered last time.
Him, right in front of you. He was. Read it earlier. We read that earlier. Get your hand up. All praises to the Lord. All praises. Just hand up.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Why you have a bag in your hand?
It says, read that bottom part again we just read.
It says neighboring and asserting their authority and might be forced of arms, imposing tribute on the vanquished. In other words, conquered neighboring faraway countries asserting.
No, and all the available. Start from there.
Oh, I'm sorry. In all the available sources, firmly established that the Israelites were constantly persecuted, that they practically at all times over the millennia went from one bondage to another.
Where's that at? Read it earlier today. Over millennia, went from one bondage to another. Where's that written at?
Tomorrow in the scriptures, right?
Yep. You read it today. From one bondage to another. From one enslavement to another. Nearly always being subservient to someone. We read it earlier today.
I'm not sure, sir.
All right, next. Next.
Unsure.
Not sure. All right. Oh, God. Behind you. Behind you. His hands up. Yes.
Hosea 8:8.
Where else?
Jeremiah 48:11.
Thank you. What does it say in Jeremiah 48:11? What does it say there? This quote, this paraphrase. What does it say exactly?
It basically said we go from vessel to vessel, captivity to captivity.
Thank you. Yes. This is going to explain the cosmopolitan or multicultural features we read earlier. Read on.
In all the available sources, it is firmly established that the Israelites were constantly persecuted, that they practically at all times over the millennia went from one bondage to another, from one enslavement to another, nearly always being subservient to someone.
Always in slavery. Is Israel a homeborn slave? Same thing. Go ahead.
At the same time, however, in some mysterious way, they managed to maintain their collective uniqueness, often in defiance of their own practicality.
Go ahead.
They were true to the faith of the fathers, and in any empire achieved important positions in economics, politics, and culture.
We did. Go ahead.
A mysterious and unique phenomenon of persecution and torment oppressed peoples there have been a plenty, but none of them have been settled over vast territories.
This is bad. It says a mysterious and unique phenomenon of persecution and torment. Oppressed peoples there have been a plenty, but none of them have been settled over vast territories. Go ahead.
From Spain to India, from Italy to Sweden, only the Jews.
Only Israel has underwent the captivity and oppression that no other nations underwent. Now that Sweden thing, dismiss that. That's referring to them bastards. I'm referring to them. Italy, yes. Sweden, as they go into convert stuff. But yes, Israel has been persecuted all over the world. No nation has underwent their torture and torment. It says the author calls it a mysterious and unique phenomenon. It's called God. That's what that's called. Daniel 9, yes. Was it verse 11?
Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God. Wait, sorry.
11. 12, start 12.
Because we have sinned against him, and he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem.
So no other nation has underwent the persecution and the enslavement that we went to, being spread across vast territories. Israel was spread all throughout all four corners of the earth. No other nation can make such a boast. No other nation could make such a boast. None. Continue. Where you're at. No, what Jez is reading from. Go ahead.
At the same time, it is striking that a phenomenon on such a scale, the appearance in one country or another of huge groups of Jews, has not been reflected in reliable historical sources. That is, there are fully enough accounts of persecutions and pogroms.
Pogroms, go ahead.
But records of the forced or voluntary arrival of large masses of foreign peoples in any country is not on record anywhere. Not one written account exists other than the legendary Exodus of Moses.
So it's saying that the history of the Jews is shrouded in mystery regarding records. Go ahead. Which
How
is
then?
true. Go ahead.
How then do historians explain the wide distribution of the Jews among other peoples? In all sorts of ways. Some say that this...
Continue. We're going to go to others hold on page 14. We'll continue from there, but others hold.
Some say that this is connected with the missionary activity of their priests. But those who believe this are extremely weakly acquainted with Judaism, a closed religion which does not have a missionary tradition.
Yes, it did. But when Israel scattered among the world, we did have missionary traditions. Go ahead, watch this.
Others hold to the hypothesis of the commercial motivation of the distribution of the Jews. They always were excellent merchants. They reached anywhere they wanted with their goods.
Right, we always travel. Merchants, like salmon ships. Go ahead.
Settled in various countries and created their own communities. This hypothesis also does not stand up to a critical analysis. The thing that trade in the Middle Ages, even more so in the early centuries, is connected most of all with seafaring. And here, the historians, for some reason, are silent about brave Jewish captains. They aren't any.
They're written openly, but there were some. Now, go to, what did I say end at? Hold on. On any, go to page 15. Page 15, we're going to end at page 17. Go to page 15. Page 15. What the author's saying is that when it comes to the history of the Jews, they keep things silent. They keep things secret on purpose. And the only thing we really have is the Bible, is what he's saying. But that isn't true. You just have to dig. Right there, the genetic commonality. Watch this.
The genetic commonality of the Jewish population.
The genetic commonality of the Jewish population. Watch this.
with the native population of one country or another does not even evoke surprise. It is not possible to genetically distinguish the Ethiopian Jew from the Ethiopian, the
Bukharan Jew.
Bukharan Jew from the Chaljic, the Swedish Jew from the Swede, and so forth. One may presume that the Jews were once joined.
One may presume. It's a typo. One may presume.
One may presume that the Jews were once joined by conjugal ties with the local population, and as a result have features similar to them.
Right. One may presume that the Jews have conjugal ties with the heathens, and as a result, we end up getting their features. Like Jeremiah 48 says, the scent leaves, the taste leaves, for the most part. Go ahead. In some ways. Go ahead.
But in the first place, Jewish communities are extremely conservative on this question.
Because it's referring to so-calls. Because remember, so-calls would maintain that the Jews are white. But yet you have Israelites all over the world that are black. Well, those guys are phony. Those guys are fake ones. So the so-calls tend to keep quiet regarding Israel mixing or being dark. So what they did was to save face or do damage control, they brought the Ethiopians over there into the land and said, see, we're black too. And white. They try to be slick. Then the white ones aren't the real Jews at all. The black ones they brought over there, they are real ones. Well, remnants of them are the real ones. But go ahead.
And in the second place, the many distinguishing signs of Semitic extraction, according to the laws of genetics, must be maintained through 20 generations. But this is not the case in the examples observed.
Go ahead.
Let us examine some results on the basis of which anthropologists challenge the presence of a Jewish race.
So anthropologists challenge that Jews are a race based upon this. Watch.
In the pamphlet, The Race Question in Modern Science, UNESCO Professor Juan Comas comes to this conclusion.
Watch.
Despite the view usually held, the Jewish people is racially heterogeneous.
Heterogeneous, meaning we all one. Meaning we all share the same features. We're all black. We're all brown. That's how it's supposed to be. Initially, we were heterogeneous. Go ahead.
Its constant migrations and its relations, voluntary or otherwise.
But it's constant. Our constant migrating in our relationships we got involved in with the nations, voluntarily or otherwise. It changed that. Go ahead.
With the widest variety of nations and peoples have brought about such a degree of crossbreeding.
Of to give what?
Crossbreeding.
Of us crossbreeding. Go ahead.
That the so-called people of Israel can produce examples of traits typical of every people.
Cake not turned, speckled bird. So the scientists say these guys can't be a race because they're Jews. They look different from everybody else. They look different. But we are the same. Remember, it's the Native Americans all are one origin, but they have different cosmopolitan, different native character traits regarding Native Americans. It's like Judah also. You have Judah that looks like Negro and some look like straight white boys. Or some look like straight Arabs, some look straight Asian. Like, for example, you have brothers that go to war to Vietnam. Made them babies over there. They look like Vietnamese. That's Jake. You cannot play the color game. Israel did this constantly for hundreds of years. Crossbreeding, traveling, migrating different lands. I gave y'all examples earlier. Samson, the Danite sister, Joseph, Moses, Judah. There's Solomon, Hiram's mother. There's various examples of Israel mixing themselves among the nations. Continue.
As crossbreeding that the so-called people of Israel can produce examples of traits typical of every people.
Compare
the Rubicon, sturdy, heavy-built Rotterdam Jew with his co-religionists. Say in Salonika, with gleaming eyes and a sickly face and skinny, high-strung physique, we can assert that Jews as a whole display as great a degree of morphological disparity.
We share a great degree of morphological disparity. I mean, we look different from each other. Go ahead.
Among themselves, as could be found between members of two or more different races.
So you'll find Israelites looking like different races, even though they're all the same. Go ahead.
The wide range of variation between Jewish populations in their physical characteristics and the diversity of the gene frequencies of their blood groups render any unified racial classification for them a contradiction in terms.
Because biblically speaking, you look on the walls of Egypt, all of them had afros, brown, black, but now you're like, well, he's bright as hell. He's waffle skin. That's not a white boy over there. That's a Jake over there too. You confused now because Israel crossbred, mixed around. So now pretty much you can find Jake anywhere. The Bible says Israel is as the sand of the sea. Israel is sand means that Israel, you're going to find, you mess around, you think it's a white dude. It's not. That's a Jake. You just don't know. You don't know. I thought Bishop always says, yo, just teach. You don't know who's who. Just teach. Don't worry about it. Because Israel is everywhere. Continue.
For although modern racial theory admits some degree of polymorphism or variation within a racial group, that is the theory, does not permit distinctly different groups to be identified as one.
Go ahead.
To do so would make the biologically purposes of racial classification futile and the whole procedure arbitrary and meaningless. Unfortunately, this subject is rarely wholly divorced from non-biological considerations. And despite the evidence, efforts continue to be made to somehow segregate the Jews as a distinct racial entity.
Right. Now this is craftiness. So basically, the Jews made being a Jew a religion and not a race, because the Jews, due to them intermingling and not sharing the same features or being the same color, they're saying they can't be a race anymore. By science, they're no longer a race anymore. Now, remember, Trump recently passed a law saying they're a race now. So that what? If you go against them, it's a hate crime. So Esau made it so that the Jews, knowing our history that we mixed among the nations, they say, well, we're white and some of us are black. They try to be slick. So yes, we could be Jews too, because the Jews mingled among the nations. So we were initially white, but because we messed around with the dark nations, these Ethiopian Jews are here now. See? That's the other side of us. They try to be slick with it. Y'all get what I'm saying? That's what they did. So they took advantage. So Esau took advantage of us being multicolored and multi-featured and said, I'm a Jew also. And the black ones are the crossbred ones. We're the pure ones. They're the mingled ones. They're the remnants. That's what Esau did. So they can't be, so by science, we're not really a race. But then after we started blasting them and the truth started coming out more, they said, okay, well, Trump, make us a race now. Try to be slick. So now, what page is that? That was 17 already? Read those next, yeah.
Blow it up. All right. Maurice Fishburne.
Right. James Adair wrote The History of the Native American Indians, and Ronald Sanders wrote Lost Tribes of Promised Lands. James Adair wrote The History of the Native American Indians. He spent time among them. James Adair wrote A History of the Native American Indians. Thank you, Yediah. You have two books. You have Lost Tribes of Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders, and you have History of American Indians by James Adair. He wrote that. Thank you.
Maurice Fishburne, who holds the viewpoints of traditional history, has noted the following. Beginning with biblical evidence and traditions, it appears that even in the beginning of the formation of the tribe of Israel, they were already composed of various racial elements.
Stop! Read it again.
Beginning with biblical evidence and traditions, it appears that even in the beginning of the formation of the tribe of Israel, they were already composed of various racial elements.
We were already racially diverse in features before intermingling. We were already different features. We had 5 different mothers. 5. 2 Hebrew women and 2 heathen women, and Joseph's wife, Egyptian. 5 different mothers. And we have no idea what nation they were. The 2 women, the 2 midwives, 2 maidens, maidservants. We don't know what they were. So their features may have come from, our features may have come from them. We don't know what they were. 5 different mothers. Go ahead.
We find in Asia Minor, Syria, and Palestine at the time many races, the Amorites, who were blonde.
I don't know all of that stuff. Go ahead.
Diaphatic and tall.
I think that means like a white features, I think. White features. Go ahead.
The
and
Hittites,
tall. Go ahead.
a dark complexion race with dark hair, probably a Mongoloid type. The Cushites, a Negroid race, and many others. With all these, the ancient Hebrews intermarried.
We did. And you do have Hamites that have Mongoloid type features. I'm going to get to that in a few seconds. You had Hamites that had Mongoloid type features. That's an Asian features. Watch this. Go ahead.
And many others with all these, the Bible, with all these in ancient Hebrew intermarry, as can be seen in many passages in the Bible.
Right. Go ahead.
The prophets made thunder against marrying daughters of a strange god. Yet the promiscuous Israelites.
The what?
The promiscuous Israelites.
The what?
Promiscuous Israelites were not deterred.
We didn't care. The prophet said, stop doing it. We said, yeah, whatever, man. I like Ammonite women. I love Moab. I love Ham. I don't care what the prophets say. Like today. Go ahead.
And their leaders were foremost in giving a bad example.
Our prince and priests do the same thing. They're the ones in this trespass. We fall behind the leaders. Go ahead.
Even the first patriarch, Abraham, cohabited with Hagar, an Egyptian. Joseph married Arsinoe,
An Egyptian woman. Go ahead.
who was not only Egyptian, but the daughter of a priest. Moses married a Midianite, Zipporah.
She's Ethiopian. Her father was a Midianite priest, but she's Ethiopian. Go ahead.
Samson, the Jewish hero, a Philistine. King David's mother was from Moab.
His great-grandmother was Moab.
And the Bible reports about King Solomon. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love.
Solomon loved them heathens. He loved them. Go ahead.
Apparently, both the elite and the servants repeated the royal example. The traditional historians think, moreover, although there also existed a prohibition against marrying Gentile girls, it was not extended to prisoners in wartime.
Right, concubines. Go ahead.
It would not be worth dwelling on it if there were no persistent myth about a biblical people who preserved the purity of the race over all history.
Because we did not preserve our purity of race over all history. We did not do that. Go ahead.
Such is the generally accepted point of view. One would be able to agree with it if not for the huge quantity of facts which say that the fully pardonable weakness of the Jews for Gentile girls does not have any relation to the diversity of Jewish types.
Go ahead.
The men loved the Gentile girls of their own tribes, whose special feature consisted only of the fact that they, in contrast with the idolater kinsmen, were monotheists. As regard the migration of the Jews, medieval history has brought to us well-recorded facts of intra-European resettlements, when as a result of various political intrigues, groups of Jews were resettled from long-inhabited places. Yes, they migrated, but the reason lay not in their national affiliation. Then there weren't even nations in the modern sense of this word. Moreover, what is extremely important, the reference was never used for other groups and strata of the population. That is, it was not a method for the resolution of political, economic, and other problems.
Go ahead.
We will not find in the documents that have been preserved one example of that era where people were resettled in mass to other places. In the best case, they robbed, raped, and expelled. Basically, mass executions and penal servitude were used. This was simpler and quicker. The most striking example are the persecution in the 16th century of the French Huguenots, who wished to receive divine grace directly from God.
All right, that's nonsense. Go back up. So the point he's bringing out is that Israel, even despite mixed with the other nations, we had racial differences. And regarding even before migration and so forth, that's what he's going into. That was 17, right? All right. Get me, what I want. The images. I want you to take don't have it on the screen. I want you to put. Show his grandfather. So focus on the grandfather's face first. Focus on this. Cut him out. Where his grandparents were. I'm gonna show y'all a difference. I'm gonna show y'all a racial disparity in features. Yeah, all I want is the top. I want y'all to do it this gradually. Then we're gonna, after we get the grands, those on top, I want you to zoom in on the child in the middle, on the bottom. After this, okay, put that on screen for them to see. Okay, this is a couple here. This is a brother here. Don't say who it is if you know who it is. This is this man right here. Okay, is his father, son, and that's the Edomite mother, right? And that's their child, right? Now, that child looks familiar to some of y'all. Some of y'all know who that is. He's a rapper today. Now, I want you to go down to, get out the screen, zoom in on the middle, the child. So all I want is the child, if possible. Move it over some. Yep. Even more. Right there. Now, go to this image, this child right here. Look at this child here. Now look at this child, right? Now you saw that man with his wife, right, and that little boy, right? What would you say this child is singing? What would you say he is? Looking at him. Edom, right? It's Edom, right? Looking at him, right? Let's bring it in. Let's see whose child this is. Bring it in, son. Bring it in. Oh, that's whose child it is. That's Drake's son. And that's the mother of the son. That's the French woman on the right. Bring it in some more. Bring it in. Come with the whole thing. That's Drake's father up there. That's him as the child and his mother. That's his son. So listen to me. That's the grandson of that man on the left. So you never think in your mind that child in the middle, grandfather is the guy in the top left. You never think that. That's a black child. You understand? That's why we read earlier, or that reading we did earlier about Israel's racial morphism, polymorphism. They went from the top, go to the left again, go to Drake's father. Just go to him alone. Bring it down. Just go to, all I want is his father. Zoom them out, get them out of here. Move over to the left. Woolly hair, wide nose, lips. That's straight Jake. Undeniably Jake, right? Dark skin, everything. Can't say he's mixed or anything. That's pure Jake right there from what I'm seeing. Now, bring it down to the boy. Look at that. Look at the difference. That's his grandchild. Now, if this child gets older, retains these features, and marries a white girl, what will that child be? It'll be a black child too. And if that continues through generations, it'll still be a black child. You understand? This black-only stuff has to stop. It is dumb. It comes from dumbasses. Stop listening to dumbasses. Guys are retarded. Go to would you say something?
Black people.
Black people.
Remember.
Stop listening to black people and their women. Now, go to the next one. I want you to give me what I want. Let me see that. Don't put it on the screen. Let me see what you got. Go to the next images I have. Yes, put them up next. Exhibit B. Let's get Exhibit B. You know who it is? Don't say who it is. Let's just blow it up. I want to just zoom in. There you go. Bring it down. Nose again. That's Jake, right? Woolly hair, right? It's a black man. Go over to the left. This white woman, so-called white woman, right? As far as I know, white woman. And that's their child there, right? That's their child. You can see the features of the father and the child. Despite how pale she is, you can see, go to the father and get the mom out of here. I don't care about the mom. Get the mom out of here. Get the mom out of here. Move the mom out the way. Get to the daughter and father. All I want is the daughter and father. If you can. There we go. Bring it, just zoom it in some. Bring it in some. All I want is those two if I can. If not, yeah, y'all know what you're doing. Okay, just do that. Yeah, do that. You just bring it in some. That's fine. Let's put it back in. Put it back in there. Let's put the whole picture. Put the whole picture in. Put the whole picture in there. All right. So you see that's his baby. You see it. You see features of the father, right? You see that? The nose, all of that. Now, give me a picture of them older now. Let's see who this little girl is today. Yep. No, not that one. The other one. It's a family photo of them. If you can't find it, just go to that one then. I don't want to waste your time. Can't find it? That's fine. Go to that one. She's also an artist. That's Halsey today. That's a black woman also. That's the father there. That's her now. Vast difference. It's like her mom's genes just took over. There's just no father at all present. That's her father. You can see her somewhere in there. You can see it. But that's her father. So when she goes and marries a black man or whatever, who knows? But if she goes and marries Edom, it's a wrap, of course. It's game over. That lineage is finished. That lineage is done. Unless she got a brother, which she does. So that's Halsey, artist. That's her father there, and her mom there. That's her younger there. That's so-called African-American woman. Despite her features. We got anything else? I don't have time for black-only BS. I don't have time for it. It's comical to me and stupid. You are what your father is. That's what the Bible says. There should be one more, I believe. One more. Oh, yes. Yeah, I want that too. That picture, yes. Thank you. That's what I was waiting for. Now, this is an actor. I want the left. If you can, yeah, give me the left first. I want the left side first. Focus on the left side only. Okay, yes. Now, give me all I want is the left. Yep. Blow it up. Put that on the screen for everybody to see. Then give me him older. This is Michael Warren, an actor. Michael Warren. Those of you who don't know how that is, this is an actor. Okay, his name is Michael Warren. Very famous. All right. Now, go over to the right. Over to the right. That's his son, Cash Warren. He's married to Jessica Alba, an actress. That's his father. Bring them together. Put them together. Let's put the whole picture up. Move it over. Center it. That's father and son. Stop this black-only stuff. Stop it. Stop it. It's retarded. That's his. He looks like he's Northern Kingdom. That's a black man on the right. That's his father on the left. Michael and Cash Warren. All right. If you want, give me the image of his. Type in Michael Warren real quick. Google it to see who he is now. How he looks now. Michael Warren, actor. Michael Warren. Gotta stop this, man. I'm gonna get more detail on this on us mixing. I'll get that later on in series 2. When we was in Spain, when we were in Spain and Portugal, how much promiscuity was going on. Right. Yeah, send them that if you want. Well, she's Jake anyway, his wife. Yeah, him older, that one. Him older. Yeah, let's put that for them to see. That's Michael Warren now, or him. I believe that's him presently, or what? Maybe of years. Him. This is him older now. All right, that's him now. So you can see the eye in the eyes. He's got his father's eye. The top half is the father. He got that. But that's his father. That's him now. That's him older now. He's bald. That's his hair. He's bald. That's his father now. All right. Now give me the picture to them of Cash Warren's family, his wife and children. Let's get this man's grandchildren now, and his daughter-in-law. Let's get that. Let's see how his family looks now. Let's see Michael Warren's grandchildren. Everybody see it. That's his grandchildren now. Okay? That's his wife, Jessica Alba. Okay, and these are their children. He's got the gray hair now. He's older now. This father is Michael Warren. You'd never know. You in the street cursing them out, and that's your people. Retarded as hell. Stop doing it. Now, let's go to that book again. Go back to this again. Page 88. We're going to go to where it says Mr. Adair, and we're going to end at them all.
Hey, Deacon.
Yeah.
We're going to have a nation test. If you come in looking like Esau, we're going to put a plate of uncooked meat there. See if you eat it or not. If you Moab, we're going to get a bat and put it in soup. See if you eat it.
Yeah. I said, well, no.
If you Ham, we're going to put a plate of feces there.
Oh. And bowl of blood. Bowl of blood.
Yeah,
for a drink.
bowl of blood.
Page 88. Page 88.
If you Ammon, we're going to put flies.
Yeah. We're going to start at Mr. Adair in page 88. I sent you 4. 85, 87, 88, and 116. You read 87 earlier, I believe. No, you read 85 earlier. Yeah. 88. You just read it earlier. We're going to start at Mr. Adair. And end at them all.
All right. Mr. Adair expresses the same opinion, and the Indians have their tradition that in the nation from which they originally came, all were one color.
Uh-huh.
According to all accounts given of the Indians, there are certain things in which all agree. This appears in the journals of Mr. Giddens of his exploring tour. The most distant and barbarous Indians agree in a variety of things with all other tribes. They have their great spirit, their high priest, their sacrificing when going to or returning from war, their religious dance, and their sacred little enclosure containing their most sacred things, though it be but a sack instead of an ark.
Mesri Lack, I don't know, Mesri Lack, go ahead.
Mesri Lack and
Escobotus.
both assert that they have often heard the Indians of South America sing hallelujah. For thousands of miles, the North American Indians have been abundant in this.
All sing songs of hallelujah. Go ahead.
Dr. Williams, in his History of Vermont, says, in whatever manner this part of the earth was peopled, the Indians appear to have been the most ancient or the original men of America.
You're the first ones here and only ones here. Go ahead.
They had spread over the whole continent from the 50th degree of north latitude to the southern extremity of Cape Horn. And these men everywhere appeared to be the same race or kind of people.
See that? They appear to be the same race or kind of people despite their differences and features. Go ahead.
In every part of the continent, the Indians are marked with a similarity of color, features, and every circumstance of external appearance.
See that? In every part of the continent, the Indians are marked with the similarity of color, features, and every circumstance of external appearance. They all had the same different features all throughout the Americas. Go ahead.
Pedro de Sica de Leon, one of the conquerors of Peru, and who had traveled through many provinces of America, says of the Indians, the people, men and women, although there are such a multitude of tribes or nations, and such diversity of climates, appear nevertheless like the children of one father and mother.
They all appear to be of the same people, same lineage. Go ahead.
Ulloa, quoted by Dr. Williams, had a great acquaintance with the Indians of South America and some parts of North America. Speaking of the Indians of Cape Breton in the latter, he declared them to be the same people with the Indians in Peru. If we have seen one American, said he, we may be said to have seen them all.
If you've seen one, you've seen them all. They all look exactly the same. That's what he's saying. Regardless of features, they all look exactly the same. They're all diverse. Get page 116. 116. And we're gonna start at Abe, whatever that is, and stop at 12 sons. It's not much.
Blow it up some.
Right there. Ab Clivigero.
Abby Clavigero assures us that the natives of Mexico had the tradition that there once was a great deluge.
A great flood.
And Tibsy, in order to save himself from being drowned, embarked in a ship with his wife and children and many animals.
Who's Tepsi? Noah. Go ahead.
That, as the waters abated, he sent out a bird which remained eating dead bodies. He then sent out a little bird which returned with a small branch.
Go ahead.
Dr. Betty says that an Indian in Ohio informed that one of their traditions was once the waters had overflowed all the land and drowned all the people then living, except a few who made a great canoe and were saved.
The ark. Go ahead.
This Indian added to Dr. Betty that a long time ago, the people went to build a high place, that while they were building, they lost their language and could not understand each other.
What's that going into? Tower of Babel. That's their tradition. They had knowledge of the Bible. Go ahead.
Dr. Bidnot assures us that two ministers of his acquaintance informed him that they, being among the Indians away toward the Mississippi, the Indians there, who never before saw a white man, informed him that one of their traditions was, a great while ago, they had a common father.
They had a common father. A great while ago, the Indians told them we had a common father. Watch this.
Who had the other people under him.
We had people under him. Watch this.
That he had 12 sons.
That he had 12 sons. Go ahead.
By who he administered his government. But the sons, behaving illy lost his government over the other people. This, the two ministers conceived to be a pretty evident traditionary notion concerning Jacob and his 12 sons.
So they knew they were Israel. Their forefather was Jacob. They knew. We messed up. We lost his government. We lost the kingdom. That was given to our father Jacob. We knew who they were. They knew who they were. That's Genesis 49, verse 1. Get the next one. Give me the image. It's a Kingsborough image. No one can afford that book. A book is worth $60,000. No one can afford that book. I could say a name and title, billion years. Kingsborough. I can't afford it. You can't afford it.
That book was the size, almost half the size of me.
Yeah, that book was like this table, right?
Yeah.
Turn the page.
Yeah. When I went to the library, I had to
Library of Congress.
Library of Congress
in D.C.
I had to schedule a special appointment. I could not see the book that day. Like, I had to schedule an appointment, and with that, I had to write down all my information before I can see the book. So once I entered to the room, it was a room that was sectioned off. It wasn't. Everybody wasn't allowed to that room. It was like one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So even when I went to the room, they came in with gloves carrying the book. And when I went to look at the book, they placed it on a special glass platform, and I could not touch it with my hand. They gave me something to turn the pages.
Yep. That book is in the Smithsonian.
Heavy.
It's in the Smithsonian. It's in the Vatican.
And about Library of Paris.
Library of Paris also.
The Royal Library of
I
Paris.
don't want that. That's not what I want. Not that image. I want it's Kingsborough. It says Chiapanese. Chiapa. People of Chiapa is an image. A bunch of sentences. It doesn't say his name on it. It's
And within that Lord Kingsborough book, all praise to the Most High, I had an opportunity to look through the pages, and actually, I have some of the pages documented.
It's right.
That I photographed.
Right under
So, but like I said, it goes in depth into a lot of the traditions that God was doing on this side of the world. Like, for example, they have a tradition that God was every Sabbath day you had the main, or they said the 7 chief cities, Gadite chief cities, came together on a Sabbath day. And you had, in the congregation, you had a Gadite priest teaching, and then you had a Gadite reader. So the way we're teaching, Deacon Athan's teaching, I'm reading, is the same setup that we had up in the Americas. Mm-hmm. And the Sabbath day, they shut down the whole town, where you couldn't even see a little baby or a kid running the street. So the same observances that Lord Kingsborough observed in the Bible, the scriptures, the same thing that God was doing to the T, even from going to the temple. when the scripture says to loose your foot from off, for this is holy ground,
Took their shoes
before they came into the temple, they had to loose their foot, the shoe. So a lot of the traditions he documented exactly and did a comparison.
He went broke and died in debtor's prison trying to compile all the evidence he could to prove they were Israel. He was that devoted. They called him an antiquarian. Antiquarian, that means a person that studies ancient stuff. Antiquarian, the term is antiquarian. That's it? Yeah, get that. Let's go to, put on the screen so I can see it. Yeah, we can just read. His book is an 8-9 volume book, I believe. 8 or 9 volumes. It was 8 and 9 volumes. And so this is volume 6, page 128. So we're going to read what I want from there. Let's read all of them. Go ahead. It deserves.
Blow it up. Blow it up.
This guy was a master compiler of information. It deserves.
It deserves to be remarked that the Mexicans,
who y'all hate with a passion, go ahead.
in the same way as the Jews were accustomed to represent the deity by the symbol of a human eye within a triangle.
So they do it Egypt over here. Watch this. The Japanese. Watch.
The names of the Chiapanese chiefs whose heads...
Japanese goes into the Chiapa. Chiapa means it's on the Mexico, I believe. Chiapanese. Go ahead. Not Japanese. Chiapanese. Go ahead.
Chiefs whose heads are found on the calendar bear a considerable resemblance to Hebrew proper names. And even the signs of the Mexican calendar seem to have some references to the emblems under which Jacob, when dying, predicted the destinies of his posterity.
See that? Go on. Go back to that again. The names of the Japanese chiefs whose heads are found in the calendar bear a considerable resemblance to Hebrew proper names. I mean, the names of the calendar months were Hebrew. It says, and even the signs of the Mexican calendar seem to have some reference to the emblems under which Jacob, when dying, predicted the destinies of his posterity. That's Genesis 49, verse 1. What happened to you in the last days? Read that earlier. Go ahead.
Makes it probable that if the Jews invented the signs of the Mexican calendar, the sign Manalani, which is composed of the jawbone of a man with grass growing out of it, will refer to the 14th verse of the 66th chapter of Isaiah, which they say alludes to the resurrection, where it says, your bones shall flourish like an herb.
That's all I wanted. Go ahead, let me see. Go up. Pose Hercules, Peruvian, Satan, Ocean, Soul, Go up. That's all I want. So the Mexicans also had a tradition of their forefathers and Jacob speaking to the 12 sons, like we read earlier about in the other book. Same thing. Go back to the 12 tribe allotments again. The 12 tribe allotments. Give me Deuteronomy 33, verse 17 again. I want the 12 tribe allotments.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 17.
Hold on. Get the map first. I want to revisit that real quick. Everybody can see it. Go to the other one. There's another one I have. There's 2. I want another one. I don't want that one. There's another one I have. Yeah, that's fine. Is that what I want? It shows the names. How many do I have up there? Let me see that one. Okay, I'll do it. Let me see that one. I'll do it that one. That's fine. Blow it up some. All right. Blow it up to the top left. All I want is the top left, right there. I mentioned this last week. I mentioned it again. Center some. I want Zebulon. I want them in there. I want that in there. Blow it up. No. Bring it down. Bring it up. Right there. Stop. You have Asher, Zebulon, Issachar, and Naphtali. You see that? I want you to focus on the 3. Asher, Zebulon, and Issachar. And Naphtali's on top right for now. All right? But just remember how they're situated, okay, in this land here. Keep that in mind. Read that now. Keep
Genesis
that map up. No, keep it up. Let's keep it, yeah.
Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 17. His glory is like the firstling of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of a unicorn. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth. And they are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh.
So Ephraim and Manasseh were the leading tribes of Israel to lead Israel to to this side of the world. Go ahead.
And of Zebulun he said, rejoice, Zebulun, and thy going out.
Not going out. Go ahead.
Issachar and thy tents.
So Issachar in thy tents. Zebulon's tents. Go ahead.
They shall call the people unto the mountain. There they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness. For they shall suck of the abundance of the seas and of the treasures hid in the sand.
So it says, in Zebulun, he said, rejoice, Zebulun, in thy going out, Issachar in thy tents. They shall call the people. Now, it's still making reference to the other ends of the world, other ends of the earth. It's still making reference to that. Okay? Read on. This is what? Read verse 19 again.
They shall call the people unto the mountain. There they shall...
There. On. There. In the ends of the earth. Back to verse 17. There. Go ahead.
They shall offer sacrifices of righteousness. For they shall suck of the abundance of the seas and of the treasures hid in the sand.
And the treasures hid in the sand. Now, 2 Ezra 13, verse 40. Second Ezra 13, verse 40.
2 Ezra chapter 13, verse 40.
Keep that in mind about those two. Those two are going to dwell. Those two dwell close together on this side of the world, and they're going to dwell close together on the other side also. 2 Ezra 13 and verse 40 to 42.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osea the king, whom Salmanasar the king of Assyria led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, and go forth into a further country, where never mankind dwelt. That they might there keep their statutes.
That they might what?
That they might there keep their statutes.
That they might there keep their statutes. The same there in Deuteronomy 33, where they will offer a sacrifice of righteousness, is the same place. There. Go ahead.
Which they never kept in their own land. And they enter into the Euphrates.
That's all I want. That's verse 42. Yep. That's all I want. 42. Make sure that's all I want. Yep. Now, give me coincidence definition. Coincidence. Google the coincidence definition. I keep telling y'all, focus on Zebulun, Issachar, Asher, all together. Definition of coincidence. Coincidence, whatever you want to pronounce it. Coincidence. You always say in class there's no such thing as coincidences, and it's true. There is no such thing as coincidence. Read that. Click the arrow there in the bottom. I want that. Yep.
No, that's conscience.
No, coincidence, not conscience. The hell? Jesus Christ, God. Oh. Coincidence,
Philly
not
education.
conscience. Oh, Lord.
Philly education.
Oh, man. Philly, that's right. Damn.
What do they call us? Cabal?
I don't know. Oh, damn.
Damn. Conscience.
Coincidence. Coincidence. Coincideen. Just spell it for you. Right there. Go. Thank you. Thank you, Google. Thank you, Google. Oh, man. All right. There we go. Click the arrow. Yes. Okay. Read that definition number 1.
All right. Coincidence.
Coincidence.
A remarkable concurrence of events or circumstances without apparent casual connection.
A remarkable concurrence of events or circumstances without apparent casual connection. That's not true. It is apparent casual connection. Click the synonym of providence. Click providence. Words that synonymous with coincidence. Read that. Providence.
Providence. The protective care of God or of nature as a spiritual power.
See? Same thing. Coincidence goes back to the word providence. It says a protective care of God or of nature as a spiritual power. It says fate, destiny, nemesis, kismet, God's will, divine intervention, predestination, predetermination, astral influence, the stars, fortune, fortuity, serendipity, chance, luck, which goes back to God again, this nonsense, accidental circumstances, coincidence. So circumstance goes back to God's will. So it would not be a coincidence if you have Asher, Zebulon, and Issachar close together on the old world, and then you have Asher, Issachar, and Zebulon in the new world. It's not a coincidence. Give me a map of the Americas, please, and then put them side by side. Put them side by side. How much time I got? What time I get dark? 9:30. What time? 9. Who's at 9? Now what? 9:30. It's dark now. All right. All right. So I'll close it at 9:15. Fall is coming then. Getting dark there. It's getting dark early again. I don't want that. That's not enough detail. I want Mexico, I want all that stuff. Mexico, Peru, that kind of map. Like detailed America's map. Yeah, so I'm going to show y'all the comparison of the two. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty damn close. I'm going to be emphasizing a lot on the Aztecs because remember, as I said before, I'm not going to entertain the understanding of Old Spain without first dealing with New Spain, which is what Mexico was called, New Spain. So I'm going to deal with Old Spain. I'm going to deal with New Spain or Mexico first. So I'm putting such emphasis on Mexico because of that. All right? All right, thank you. Now, if you can, zoom in on the right one. Make that bigger, please. Only bigger. You can take the U.S. out. I don't need the U.S. Just put this Mexico and down. All right, move it over. Move it over. No, not that way. The other way. No, other way. All right, thank you. Yep, right there. All right. Now, blow it up some, the other map. Can you bring that in more? Like zoom it in more, zoom in on that? Oh, that's how it is. Okay, yes, definitely. There you go. All right. So, thank you, right there. Now, you have Mexico there. Right? Now, they're always, I said it before, they're always together. Asher, Zebulon, Issachar, right? So you have Issachar right there. You go down, that's Aztec. I'm gonna give you Aztec in a minute. Aztec, that's all there. Stop. Then go to the middle. Blow up the middle. Guatemala. So Issachar is the top. Then go up Guatemala now. Zebulon, Guatemala to Panama, go down. You have Zebulon. That's the Maya. You have Aztec. Go back to Mexico again. Go to Mexico again. Mexico, that's Aztec there. All Aztec. It's actually more than that because the Aztec had parts of South America. You have like Arizona, Nevada, Texas, Cali, Nevada, in terms of Americas, like Aztec country. Texas, Nevada, Ohio, not Ohio. California, yes, California. Okay. They call it Mexicali. Mexicali, okay? So you have Mexico there, right? That's Aztec right there. Then you go over, you have Guatemala, that's Mayan. Mayan right there, Mayan. Right? To Panama, Mayan. Leading into Inca. Inca goes to your Colombia. Stop, don't too fast. Inca goes into your Colombia, but go down. You see Asher and Naphtali next to each other? You have Inca went from the top right, of Colombia there, Venezuela, Ecuador, go down, Peru, Bolivia, Brazil, that's all Asher, go down, Paraguay, right? Then over to your left of Paraguay is what? Go over to the left. Argentina. Okay, y'all throw me off. I don't know what's happening. Losing my thought. I do that. Go back down. Asher, blow it up some. That's Brazil. It stops at Paraguay. Okay, Paraguay there, because it extends in there, Paraguay. And it's northwest Argentina is also part of Inca territory. Leads tying into what? Argentina and Chile. See that? All connected. You have Naphtali up there, next to Asher, likewise here. You have Zebulon up top, Issachar above them. Always together. Always together. Now I'm going to further prove that Aztecs is Issachar. I'm going to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt later on. I'm doing Mexico. But I'm just showing you that those always remain together. They always remain together. Zebulon, except on this side of the world, Issachar's on the top. It's like reverse. Issachar's on top now. Then Zebulon's in the middle. He stayed in the middle. Asher's in the bottom now. And then Naphtali is next to Asher anyway, but on the bottom. It's just reversed. You see how it's reversed? Do y'all see? Am I talking to myself? Do y'all see what I'm talking about? Okay. So you have Asher on the map, basically Naphtali and Asher on the bottom. Issachar's on top. It's complete reverse. It's just upside down pretty much. Issachar's on top, Zebulon in the middle, Asher bottom, then Naphtali next over. It's the same exact thing. It's upside down. Two promised lands. Y'all understand? All right, let that go. There is no coincidences, only providence. Want to go into that? Yeah, I'll give myself 10 more minutes. Give me go back to the book again, page 102. Give you a little bit more, and I'm gonna fall back till tomorrow for part 3. Page 102. No, let that go. I don't want that now. This one. Page 102. We'll see how much is to read. If it's a lot, then I might just stop. Let me see. Page 102, before the light. Where is that? Before the light. Okay, before the light. All right. That you have. Yes. Now, when you research this here, these are when the Spaniards came over and began to explore and research the history of the Aztecs. They had like books like Popol Vuh. They had their own little records, and some of it was filled with some of it is filled with facts, and others is filled with mysticism. So basically, the Spaniards had to kind of figure out how to decode the fact from the nonsense. So they're putting together what they can. All right. So we're gonna read some of the translations of that. We're going to start from before the light of the sun. Move it over. Blow it up. We're at the top of the page. Yes, don't show the top. The title of the book is on the top. Before the light of the sun, right there. Start there.
Before the light of the sun, however.
And we're going to stop at race. Go ahead.
Before the light of the sun, however, the gods of Tohil, of Felix, and Hugovitz, together with the tigers and lions and reptiles, were changed into stone.
This is their folklore. Go ahead.
To interpret this paragraph,
this statement that's written, this metaphor, go ahead.
which is greatly condensed, is a difficult undertaking. Still, there are certain facts which seem to serve as the basis of intelligent speculation. The language is extremely figurative throughout the narrative, and especially so here. Their worship of the morning star at an earlier period seems to connect them with the Mediterranean people of the old world.
Go ahead.
The allusions to the sun not yet having come may be retrospective, indicating that the worship of the sun had not been adopted at the early date, or it may indicate that the period of national strength had not dawned.
Go ahead. I said stop at old world. I'm sorry. Stop at old world. Go to page 104. So he's saying some things are figurative, some things are literal. Page 104. We're going to stop. We're going to start at last, and we're going to end at of the race. Yeah. Page 104. Start at last. At the noonday. At last, at the noonday. We're going to stop at ancestors of the race.
At last, at the noonday of their national glory, it came to pass that the ancestors of their race, the Balaam Quizit, died. The men who came from the east, from across the sea.
Came from where?
From across the sea.
Who came from the east. Men of the Balaam Quizit, it says the ancestors, it says at last, at the noonday of their national glory, it came to pass that the ancestors of their race, Balaam Quizit, died, and the men who came from the east. Go ahead.
From across the sea died, and their remains were enveloped in a great bundle and preserved them as memorials of the ancestors of the race.
So they're saying that their ancestors came from the east, the natives here. Their ancestors came from the east. Now watch this, of the race, their ancestors. Now get me the other book. This one it's the top of this one. It gives it more. It's page 165. You can read these last ones and that's it. Page 165. The last book mentions the cacique, the Kishe cacique. The cacique represents the leaders, the elders. The caciques they call, the caciques. We're going to read this one here. And it mentions Balaam Quizit there also. Is it here?
I think it was a page before this.
165?
Same book.
No, it's 165. Yeah, I don't want 164. Go ahead.
Start at the top.
Yep.
We do not know the names of the author or authors who gathered together in this document the ancient traditions of their elders. In chapter 4 only, we find the personality of Diego Reynoso, an Indian of the Quiche capital.
So an Indian, Diego Reynoso, he's converted to Christianity. They gave him an English name, Spanish name. He was an Indian of the Quiche capital. The Quiches were an empire or civilization of natives that came about at the fall of the Mayan Empire. When the Mayans fell, the Quiches came into existence. Go ahead.
The Quiche capital of Yucatán, whom Bishop Mariquan brought to Guatemala City around the year 1539 and taught to read and write, as Father Jimenez relates.
So Diego Reynoso was a native that was converted to Catholicism and taught Spanish. And they told him, listen, we want you to translate these records here for us in Spanish, so we know what they mean. So they used this Native American Indian here to translate his forefathers' records. So they can understand it. Go ahead. And we can understand it. Eventually, of course, was turned to English so we can all read it together today. Go ahead.
The Indian author identifies himself as Diego Reynoso, Papo Vanak, son of Lahad.
So his real name was Popol Vanak, son of Luha. No, that was his father's name. His father's name. So his native name was Popol Vanak, son of Luha. No, but it was changed to Diego Reynoso. Go ahead.
And relates briefly the second journey of the Quiche princes to the court of Lord Noxit. After this short chapter, the narrative is resumed with an account of the genealogy of Balaam Quisi.
Balaam Quitze was an elder. Balaam Quitze. Go ahead. Balaam Quitze. Go ahead.
Father and founder of the Quiche nation.
So this guy, Balaam Quitze, is the founder of the Quiche nation. Go ahead.
And the wandering of the three Indian tribes until they reached the Maki, where the government and the nobility achieved their definitive organization. The Tuluo ends with the story of King Quiquab expedition from his departure from the Quiche capital, Chi Gokarma Maki, until his arrival at the Pacific coast, where he remained for some time.
They were talking to their migrations. These natives before they became a tribe and so forth, a nation. Go ahead.
During this expedition, the boundaries of the lands assigned to each of the tribes were fixed. The narrative goes no further than Quiquab's reign. After him, several other kings governed. Many years of war weakened the Quiche nation.
They're fighting among themselves, as usual. Go ahead.
Which under Quiquab had reached its zenith, and in 1554. Their liberty lost and their power destroyed by the conquest.
By the Spaniards, go ahead.
The last kings and dignitaries wrote this account, preserved by tradition of their ancestors, who had come from the other part of the sea, from Savan to Lon on the confines of Babylon.
They came from Babylon. They came from the other side of the world. Jump to page 167. Almost done. 167, and we're going to skip over to 169. And then we'll stop and finish it there. 167. There's a reason why I bought this book. 167. And I'm going to start at translation of the attached.
Translation of the attached manuscript, written in the Quiche language.
Written in the Quiche language, go ahead.
By those who signed it in the year 1554, in accordance with the tradition held by their ancestors. This said manuscript consists of 31 quarto, move it up from the quarto pages, but translation of the first pages is omitted because they are on creation of the world of Adam, the earthly paradise in which Eve was deceived.
So you see, he's translating the Bible. He's translating what they had their records. They had the Bible. Go back to the bottom again, what it said. What he translate out of the records of them? It says the creation of the world.
The creation of the world.
Adam.
Of Adam. The earthly paradise.
Garden of Eden. Go ahead.
In which Eve was deceived not by serpent, but by Lucifer himself.
Oh, so they knew it wasn't a snake too. They said, oh, we were deceived by the devil. So we knew on this side of the world that was no snake. That was the devil. Go ahead.
As an angel of light.
Read again. By Lucifer, not by a serpent, but by who?
Not by a serpent, but by Lucifer himself. As an angel of light.
So we knew. Go ahead.
It deals with the posterity of Adam.
It deals with the what?
The posterity of Adam.
Adam's children. Go ahead.
Following in every aspect the same order as in Genesis and the sacred books, as far as the captivity of Babylonia.
See how far the records go back? As far as the Babylonian captivity. So these guys came during what time? Not Solomon's time. Whose time they came around? Brothers are confused already. When did these guys show up? When did this tribe show up? Oh, God. Somebody help me. Yes. When did they arrive here?
The Persian and Mede captivity.
Thank you. They arrived here during the Persian Mede captivity. Yes. I'm about to stop soon. That means y'all they're slowing down now. Babylonian captivity. They came during Ezra. That's Ezra 13. Man, that's the time they came. Go ahead.
It deals with the manuscript assumes that the three great Quiche nations with which it particularly deals are descendants of the 10 tribes of the kingdom of Israel.
Boom.
Whom Shalmaneser reduced to perpetual captivity, and who, finding themselves on the border of Syria, resolved to emigrate.
Where? Here. Here. The Keisha nation come from the lost 10 tribes of Israel. They left the Assyrian captivity and came over here during the time of Babylon, when Persia took over Babylon. Remember, Persia conquered Babylon and took over. So the Keisha nation acknowledges in their records they came from Babylon. That's when they showed up. When the Mayan Empire fell, these guys showed up. Well, not fell, but yeah, when it fell pretty much around that time. All right? The Keisha nation showed up. They're the lost 10 tribes of Israel. Understand that? Go ahead, read on. Continue the rest.
In this version, the spelling and order of words of the original have been followed as far as possible.
As close as possible. So we're going to end it on that. End it on that right there.
Hey, excellent class, Deacon. Excellent class. All praise to the Most High. Northern Kingdom. Deacon gave you guys the bullets. Use it properly. All right? Use it wisely. Study. The deacon should have to defend you every single time Judah comes against you. Learn how to fight. Put on your boxing gloves. All right? Any announcements?
Yes, sir. Announcements. All right. We have 2 announcements and 1 very big announcement. All right. Let me send over the first. Y'all got that? Pull it up, put it on the screen. All right, so IUIC, we have a new watch and read. All right, it's called The Heathen Woman's Daughter. All right, brand new watch and read will be premiering this Friday at 8:30 p.m. during Fix Your Face Radio. All right, with Deacon Abiel. The Heathen Woman's Daughter will be brought to life like never done before. So all praises for that. All right, The Heathen Woman's Daughter, IUIC, watch and read. All right. All right, Israel. You can take that down. All right. Y'all ready for the big announcement? Let me get a drum roll. All right, this is the announcement that we've been waiting for. All right. Are you ready?
Always ready.
Are you ready?
Always ready.
All right. Let's get it on there. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second.
Oh, God.
1 second.
Drum roll.
Let's go. Pull it up. Put it on the screen.
Bring it out, huh?
Okay, where's it at? Where's it at, brothers? All right. Let's play it.
We are them.
Turn it up. Turn it up.
Purple and gold. We've been setting fire to the airwaves.
Wind it and turn it up.
Bring it back.
We are them. We are them. The purple and gold. We've been setting fire to the airwaves where we teach, march in cities where there's much sin. Our face is written and has always been in the book. Our Lord's face is written and has always been in the book. Face it, now our sins are displayed and it's always on the book. IUIC, check the threads, check the feeds, the stories. We always on Facebook. We push through the pain, through the rigor. A mash out posse, consider. We're as cold as Ice Cube had to tweet us on the Twitter. From Compton to Africa, you too can find truth on YouTube. Over 100 schools, millions of views. We told you IUIC will deliver the truth. And now, no more ratchet TV. Atlanta housewives. In Atlanta, we teach our women to maintain their house and be wives. Our men are now in the stand-up position. At attention in the thick of the tension, pay attention. The scriptures is given in 3D. From social media to YouTube, let the prophets eat. The truth is coming soon to Apple, Roku, IUIC.
Hey, y'all gotta bring that back, man. Y'all gotta bring that back. Come on. Turn the volume up.
Bishop says low. The bishop says low.
We are them, the purple and gold. We've been setting fire to the airwaves where we teach more.
Damn, we're gonna have to do a second drum roll.
Just play it. The damage has been done. Just play it. The damage has been done. Just play it.
We are them, the purple and gold. We've been setting fire to the airwaves where we teach, march in cities where there's much sin. Our face is written and has always been in the book. Our Lord's face is written and has always been in the book. Face it, now our sins are displayed and it's always on the book. IUIC, check the threads, check the feeds, the stories. We're always on Facebook. We push through the pain, through the rigor. A mash out posse, consider. It was cold as Ice Cube had to tweet us on the Twitter. From Compton to Africa, you too can find truth on YouTube. Over 100 schools, millions of views. We told you IUIC will deliver the truth. And now, no more ratchet TV. Atlanta housewives. In Atlanta, we teach our women to maintain their house and be wives. Our men are now in the stand-up position. At attention in the thick of the tension, pay attention. The scriptures is given in 3D. From social media to YouTube, let the prophets eat. The truth is coming soon to Apple, Roku, Amazon, IUIC TV.
All right. All praises. All praise the Most High. All right, Israel. So what y'all just witnessed